Yo. We here, we live.
No, we started with nothing in humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no, I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it. I fit the description, I'm the definition. I'm what they prescribe like she seen a physician. She wanna ride cause she seen how we getting it. Big ol' booty, she my passenger princess. She like to argue, she don't like to listen. She bougie and toxic, she fine and she picky. Pretty and sedity, she get recognition. Matching nails and toes, man, she always French tip 'em. Parking lot pimping when we in the city. Don't ask about twine, she twerk on the engine. She eat the dick in the car cause it's tinted. She pay me attention like she get commission. Pimpin' CEO, so I give her the business. She ride on the dick like she doing some fitness. She make the dick disappear like she magician. She like to swallow, man, she love when I finish. Having motion, man, you know I got plenty. Bitches choosing cause they know that I'm winning. Seen some thousands, now I'm after some millions. So all my houses come with chandelier ceilings. Pillow talking, man, that shit just ain't in me. Keep it pimpin', I can't do no pretending. Jealous hearted, man, you know I ain't with it. Cuffin' hoes, I can't do no commit. No, we started with nothing in humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no, I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it.
Oh man, double tap that screen, shut a live out, chat. Y'all know what time it is, man. We got to get to 100 likes in here off the muscle, man. Y'all know what time it is. Double tap that screen, shut a live out. We 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. We in intro mode, man.
I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game to win. I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still felt like it was yesterday. How we're moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spend some night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first, eat it last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean. Temporary feelings mixed with temporary pleasures. All these temporary moments and these temporary treasures. Temporary circumstances to temporary measures. Temporary friends and even temporary schedules. Temporary smiles and temporary goals. Temporary women sliding on temporary poles. Temporary comments and temporary trolls. I just pray that God bless me. Ain't no temporary souls. I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game to win. I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins and they say time heal. Mine still felt like it was yesterday. How we're moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spend some night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Coming back, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first, eat it last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean.
Oh man, double tap that screen, shut a live out, chat. Be sure to double tap that screen on your way in. That's how you support the channel for free. Where's the tag?
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
There we go.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Oh man, double tap the screen, shut a live out. What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut a live out. What we doing tonight, chat? Trump must stop this. Missing team found unalived and left on a Mississippi island. And we got Thomas Massie back Double tap that screen, shut a live out. Lovey, you said not hating at all, but did you take the flag down? We all going through it. Yes, I took the flag down because they're trying to merge our military with the foreign military. Yes, once they announced that Congress and they're passing it, or what they're trying to pass our military intelligence merging with another military intelligence, I took the flag down. You damn right. I took it down. I'm not with that shit, man. Call me a nationalist, call it what you want. I'm not with that shit, man. But we finna get into the episode, man. We got we're gonna talk about that teen in Mississippi that went on the boating trip. He was the only black guy there, and he did not make it home. They just found his body on the island. He has been missing since the 4th of July. We're gonna cover that case. Also, exactly why you asked me why I took the flag down, we're gonna cover that as well. Tucker Carlson had an episode talking about the military merger between Israel and America. As far as intelligence, we will become almost completely reliant on their technology. And once this is done, it won't be able to be undone. I expect it to work similarly to how we lease out, how we sell other companies weapons and technologies, and we kind of lease it out to them. The upgrades and things of those sorts will kind of be at bay as far as the upgrades when it comes to our security and technology integration. Also, we got a couple miscellaneous clips about relationships. Trump also retweeted a picture of school children. They look like Somali school children all wearing hijabs, and Trump retweeted them. He didn't say anything in the retweet. He just reposted it and let the captions that the creator had on there speak for itself. Also, we have Mitch McConnell. They're saying that he is brain dead and his wife has fled to China. They're saying that if McConnell vacated before the August 3rd cutoff, they will have to hold a special election and anyone can register as an independent, including Thomas Massie. That will split the Republican vote, giving him or maybe even a Democrat the chance to win, a chance at plurality. But if McConnell's seat is not vacated by the 3rd, by legally stepping down or a signed death certificate, then it's too close to the next election, and rules prevent a special election which bars any new registrations at this point. With McConnell's wife having traveled to China after he was hospitalized, the next of kin is not available to sign off, and so the bar for ending his life support is extremely high. It will require a full brain stem death, which is not present in some patients who are never coming back. So all they have to do, the Republicans, is drag their feet until August 3rd and then tell you McConnell didn't make it. And that will block Thomas Massie from disrupting the otherwise safe Republican seat. And they saying that is exactly what McConnell would have wanted. Do y'all think that is fair, or do y'all think that they should go ahead and write him off? McConnell's brain dead. They should go ahead and write him off and let that special election happen. Let me know, chat, what y'all think about that down in the comments. Also, we have Darius Chappell. He was arrested for an unspecified disturbance. During that disturbance, he was severely mutilated by a police K-9. They found him unalived in jail on Friday. They gave him no medical help after the dog attack. Witnesses said that the dog was on Darius for at least a full minute. The dog mauled Darius for at least a full minute. And also his charges have not been disclosed. The officer has not been disclosed. This is in Montgomery County, Tennessee. The city is Clarksville. Darius Chappell was mauled by a K-9 during an arrest and succumbed to his injuries in jail without receiving medical attention. Double tap that screen, shut a live out, chat. We're about to get into the episode. This lady right here, I believe she says she was with her husband for 2 years and found out that he was homosexual. She was with her husband for 2 years and found out he was homosexual. Let's see what's going on.
Anyway, what's your name? What's your question?
My name's Blue. My question is, I've been married for 10 years, been with him for 13. He came out a year ago. We're
Out of where?
Came out. Where was the out?
How long they been together? Whoa, she said they've been together 13 years. Whoa, 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 whoa.
been with him for 13. He came out a year ago.
So she's been with this man for 13 years. He came out a year ago. So you mean to tell me for 12 years you didn't know this man that you were married to was gay? For 12 years you didn't know he was gay? Come on, bro. I don't believe it.
We're
Out of where?
Came out. Where was the out?
You was in jail?
Came out of where, babe?
You was a pen pal.
We listen and we don't judge.
Where exactly did he come out of, babe?
came out.
You don't know where he came out. Come on.
All right.
And
Let her tell us.
He's into his feminine side, and as a family, we.
And then he came out as the girl. So listen, chat, I used to work with this guy, and he used to go by Vicky. We'll just call him Vicky. He used to go by Vicky, man. And I'm gonna tell you that he was married, had 2 daughters, and came to work every day dressed as a girl. I'm talking about bra stuffed, wig on, damn, talking about telling people to call him I called him his government name. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, look, bro, I'm not calling you that, man. But yeah, Chad, he had a family, a wife, 2 daughters, and dressed as a woman every day at work. Now, throughout the week when he wasn't at work, some days he would dress as a man, some days he would dress as a woman. But when he got hired on at the job, they told him like, hey, that flip-flopping shit is not going on. You got to pick a side. And he chose to come to work as the woman. Crazy.
Support him, but as we're moving on, I'm seeing that I am not. I'm holding that betrayal against him, and I can't proceed in the relationship. I still want to support him.
Hold on
but
1 second.
I don't know about the relationship.
All right, so I'm gonna recap. So make sure I got
I'm glad you guys are sitting down.
All right, yeah. So to recap.
I need everybody to hit the like button in here, chat. That's how you support the channel for free. Please double tap that screen. Let's get to 100 likes. Over the last 2 weeks, we have not been hitting the like goals at all. I'm really disappointed in the community as a whole. So let's turn that around tonight. Let's get the likes up. Let's get some subscribers. I've been putting videos out. We've been rocking out, man. I know I took a 3-week break, but damn. Let's get the like goal. Let's get the sub goal. She's about to recap.
You're married to a man
Yes.
who came out, and by came out we mean
We don't want to do labels, but we're thinking bisexual.
bisexual. Okay, and he wants to explore more of his feminine side.
Yeah.
And you're considering staying with him as he explores, but it's a little difficult for you.
Because I feel like he betrayed. When I got into the relationship, I told him I was bisexual. I told him all my uglies and all that other stuff.
Oh, you brought it into the damn house. You brought it into the house. I blame her. I blame her, bruh. He got with her. She was bisexual. So, of course, she's having her way with both of them. And now he's impressionable, and now he wants to be, no, she brought that shit in the house. What do they say, Chad? Some doors you don't want to open in your relationship. She opened that damn door. Now, 13 years later, his ass want to be a woman. She opened that door.
Okay, all right.
I told him all my, and I feel like there's a betrayal.
Okay, hold on. Everybody look to your left and right, say shh. All right.
Yeah, I can tell. They was probably swinging. She was probably getting cracked by him and some other guy. She's probably the kind of woman like, hey, I met this guy at the bar. Can I bring him home? And he's like, yeah, babe. Not knowing the whole time, she's not knowing that he's watching him. He's on some Diddy shit. He's not looking at you get cracked. He's on some Diddy shit. It's crazy, bro.
So
Crazy.
you told him you were bisexual.
Up front.
And you feel as if he wasn't upfront with you during that conversation. So for context, you don't feel like he just gained that itch throughout the marriage?
He ain't gained no itch.
He might. We gotta be. Hold on, time out. We gotta just. Let's just
ask questions.
Okay.
I'll be honest, looking back, when you look back at things, you're like, damn. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yup,
Getting
Blue.
cracked.
All right, so this
She been new.
all right. This conversation, we're gonna try our best not to get canceled this conversation. But Mona, you can start.
We're gonna try our best not to get canceled. I'm the
Be
sensitive
gentle.
one.
Be gentle.
Well, first of all, Blue, I feel for you.
Why? Why do you feel sorry for her? 13 years she was with this man and obviously didn't know. She's talking about, oh, I was open with him. I told him I was bisexual and this and that. Now you feel sorry for her? Why? Why is it mainstream to feel sorry for these type of people? Somebody answer me that. If you feel sorry for this woman, why? Why do you feel sorry for her?
I really do feel for you. I'm trying to.
I said to be gentle.
Sister, what I'm curious about is, do a part of what was hard for you, right, is if y'all meet 13 years ago, you're date for 3 years, you get married, you're married for 10 years, and you're open and honest about what you like, you're bisexual.
Yes.
For him to say 13 years later that he's bisexual, one might think that he had an experience, which would be him cheating on you.
No, had an experience together. That's what it is. Had an experience together. I'm telling y'all, Chad, he might have been off doing his thing on his own, but I believe that at the first of it, she tried his ass. And that's how she's saying, oh, now looking back, I know. Yeah, she was probably eating his ass, probably putting a finger in him, probably doing all kind of shit. You know, modern women in 2026, they like to say, oh, it's not gay. You can do anything with a woman and it's not gay. But then now that his ass out here bending it over after she done probably put a finger or two or a tongue in it, now she upset because he's bisexual. Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
On you.
Stop it.
All right, so
that's what I'm saying. Do you have any concerns that the reason why he came out with the bisexuality is because he's been trying things on you? He's been cheating on you with.
I don't think there's no cheating, but there's gay porn. There's exploration of that. Yes.
No, we ain't. I have a question for you. Are you willing to like join in with him since you're bi and he bi? Y'all might as well just bye together.
I don't know. That's my question. I don't know.
all right, Kitty, what do you think?
We're not going to, I don't want you to minimize that. Don't minimize that. If you were watching gay porn and stuff like that, you still cheating. Porn is still a form of infidelity. Don't minimize
Thank you.
that.
Yeah.
Sit back down. Porn is still infidelity.
I never knew.
There's a such thing as online infidelity, emotional infidelity.
All right, Chad, so is watching porn cheating? Is watching corn cheating, Chad? In your opinion, is watching corn cheating?
Infidelity.
And I've told him to
Sexual
stop,
infidelity.
and he won't.
Well, it ain't for you to stop him. That's gonna be a him thing. That don't got nothing to do with you, baby.
Hit the like button,
But
Chad.
what I was going to say, I mean, it sounds like to me you were in denial about who he actually was because you said you seen some things before.
Looking back, yeah.
Did you ever try to have a conversation with him about that?
We've sat down and talked. Yes.
Okay. Now, are you comfortable with him having sexual exchanges with men?
No, and that's where I would have to cut off.
And you still trying to be with him?
I ain't gonna lie, Chad. I had a partner in high school, and his girl said she caught him watching gay porn. I wonder whatever happened to that. I ain't talked to him in about 10 years, man. I wonder whatever happened with that. She sure put him out there for watching gay porn. It was crazy. Corn.
Trying to support.
Support?
Yep.
Can I ask a question? This is gonna be really inappropriate.
Now, hold on. I'm sorry. You trying to support him is a way for you to cope with the situation.
Yep.
Okay, so we don't. I get where you coming from because this has been somebody that
I still
you've been
love
married to.
him. It's not.
You can love somebody and let them
Yes.
go. You absolutely can do that. If you're not comfortable, it does not stop at porn. If it's in you, it's in you. Eventually, it's going to become something physical. So if you're not comfortable with it becoming something physical, why are you staying in that relationship? Because at this point, it's not going to be external betrayal. It's going to be self-betrayal. And you're going to start betraying yourself for the sake of trying to keep him happy by keeping this marriage together.
Yeah.
He hid something from you. He was living.
You said just because she's bi doesn't mean she did anything wrong. She never acted on it, but he acted on his gay impulses. I don't think that's true because she hasn't denied it. She hasn't confirmed or denied whether they have an experience together. I'm stepping out on a limb and saying about how she's talking, they were probably swingers. They probably were bringing people into the relationship together. Now, maybe that wasn't cheating. Maybe they were on some shit like, oh, I'll bring a girl in and you can crack both of us, but you got to let me bring a guy in and y'all crack both of me. Now, if they're all in agreement, that's not cheating. It just so happened that this nigga was more interested in the man than her, in my opinion. She was probably putting her finger in his ass, allegedly, on GTA. She was probably eating his ass, allegedly, on GTA and doing all kind of wild shit. And he liked it. And she probably made him feel good about it. Like, hey, you're not gay. I'm doing this to you. I'm a woman.
Living a double life.
Yeah.
There's no way you felt safe in finding that out. There's no way. That is such a deep level of trauma and betrayal that you have to process. And trying to be in it while you're still, quote unquote, supporting somebody is not going to give you the space.
That's why I don't agree with that shit. Like, a lot of you out here take that stance on, oh, you can do anything with a woman and that's not gay. I'm just going to be honest with you, bro. If she's putting a finger or a damn dildo up your ass, eating your ass and all of that shit, bro, you're gay. You're gay. You just haven't realized it yet. You just haven't come to terms with it yet. If she's putting that finger in you, she's putting a little bullet dildo, whatever the fuck in you, eating your ass on GTA, all of this is on GTA, you just haven't come to terms with you being gay yet.
That you need to help you process that.
Okay.
That's going to be a conversation that he need to have. Maybe y'all should get into family therapy.
We actually are. That's confirmed.
'Cause that's-
Oh,
Yes,
She's still in love, bro.
can I ask one more question?
maybe.
No, because I think it's, I got two actually.
Ronnie comes through with the super chat saying, I got 5 on it. She can do whatever she like. No, she cannot, Ronnie. And I'm going to tell you, Ronnie, see, you the one that'll get tried, bro. You don't want to let a shorty slip a finger inside you, bro. And I'm going to let you know that y'all might have a good night that night. But after she leaves, she ain't going to never look at you the same, boy. She just put something inside you. How can she look at you the same when she just inserted something in you, man? The hell is going on, Ronnie? Talking about she can do what she like. No, the fuck she can't.
If I'm just thinking, though, I've accepted this part of you. I've accepted your desires. I've accepted you.
You said, what if you were drunk, Max? You might need to go to the police. If she slipped a finger in you or slipped something in you and you were drunk, you might need to go to the law. You might have been abused, my boy.
Experimenting, you wanting to be, or potentially, have you been involved with women in the relationship?
In the not in this relationship, no, but in the past.
Okay. Oh,
yes.
okay.
But not currently in our
Okay.
relationship, no.
So in a relationship, you've been completely monogamous with him.
Yes,
And he's saying, I have these feelings as well, but I want to explore them.
maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
So we ain't got there
Yep,
yet. So
yep,
there's still,
Yep.
I think there's still time. One more question. We're not saying real names. Is the name of this man?
You said not you, your cousin. So how do you know your cousin got a finger put in him? Max, how do you know? Because that's not something your cousin's just going to come out and tell you. So I want to know, how do you know your cousin got a finger put in him? He didn't tell you that. He did not tell you that, bro. That's crazy as hell.
Man, like closer to Deontay? Or like Brad?
He got a Bible name.
Okay.
Biblical name. You know,
She didn't understand the question.
What's up, Dwayne?
we all want to know.
I know. what you
Deontay or
Oh, you said she told you? See, that's how it be. Now you see what I mean, chat? You see, she wanted to stick her finger in his butt. Probably told him it was all fun and games and it was all cool and shit. And what did she do? She ran back and told his first cousin, Max. Now Max knows that he was drunk and she slipped a finger in his butt. She tried him. She didn't really want to, make him feel good or make him feel comfortable about himself. She wanted to see if he was pussy. She wanted to see if he was a little funny. She wanted to see if he might just swing that way. And she got her confirmation because she slipped a finger in his ass on GTA. That shit is crazy, bro. Y'all gotta cut it out, women. Y'all gotta stop this shit. That shit's not cool, bro.
Brad, if you had the closer name.
He's mixed.
Okay.
This whole shit is mixed.
All right, so listen.
I've been sitting here a long time, and I had 2 questions that I really didn't respond on, but there's some synergy there. I think when everything else in your life is mid or below,
And what's even crazier about it is, Chad, I worked in the office with some OGs, right? Like some black ladies. There was one white lady, 2 black older, now I ain't gonna say older women, but they were older than me. They were in like their 40s and early 50s. And they used to sit in there and talk about how they try niggas, bro. They used to be like, yeah, I just slipped a finger in his butt. But after he left, we did what we did. But after he left, I never looked at him the same. I know if you let me put my finger, get the rubbing around your butt and shit, I know what kind of man you are. They used to sit around. Now, these are 45, 50, early 50-year-old women talking about slip every man that they sleep with. They try to slip a finger in their butt just to see if they go that way. If they let them do it, cool. If they don't, then they'll keep seeing them. Like, oh, if he passed the test, basically. Like, oh shit, he didn't let me put a finger in his ass on GTA, so he passed the test. It's crazy, bro. Cut it out.
relationship. I think when you got a mid job, I think when you're a mid friend to all your friends, I think if your apartment is mid, your dishwashing liquid is mid, your hairstyle is mid, you eating out, you got a vending machine diet going on. A lot of times your relationship is a reflection of everything else you got going on in your life. And I hear these people come up here about these mid relationships, and it sounds to me like that's probably because everything else in your life ain't situated. So how about we pause from this romance thing and start building our credit, start building our relationship with God, start building our abs, start building.
Now, how the hell they gonna build a relationship with God when he just came out? He just came out. They still swinging and bisexual and shit and doing all of this fornicating. How the hell is they gonna? You know what I'm saying? What is they gonna do, man? I don't think that's the right advice he should have gave them. He should have told them like, hey, look, man, if y'all are gonna work this out, go into the church. If y'all are gonna separate, man, leave that man alone. Go about your business. He go about his business. 13 years is a long time, but if it's something you can't get over, you just can't get over it. It's either y'all gonna be together or not, man. Somebody gotta cut it out. Y'all can't bring God into all of this shit you got going on, man. He's out here, just came out as y'all swinging and fornicating. Now y'all want to bring God into it, bro. It's crazy.
Building a good, healthy diet, and then maybe compartmentalize. A lot of times people be falling in love because they want something on the rent and dick.
Yeah, when I say GTA, it's because I'm saying a lot of explicit stuff. So I just want them to know that I'm not talking about in real life all of this fornicating and shit. It's on Grand Theft Auto. That's for the YouTube algorithm purposes and shit. I love YouTube. We all love YouTube. My chat loves YouTube. But yeah, so we say on GTA, in GTA.
That package is so available to all of y'all. You just have to negotiate it because it's not about what you think you're worth. It's about what you negotiate. And in your instance, never be afraid to change the price.
No.
Never be afraid to change the price. We got new terms here.
And Ronnie, you sitting here talking about you slipped on the finger. Like, I don't know, Ronnie. I don't know. Now's not the time to be in here trolling. People are actually confessing what's done happened to them in this bitch right now. And you in here, I don't know if you trolling or not. Like, so.
At Grainger, we have over 1 million products.
Oh, hell no. Why the fuck is we not signed in? Hold on, chat. I gotta sign in. Oh, he signed in. Damn. Damn, chat. Hold on. My other phone. Check your phone. Open. All right, hold on, chat. Y'all hit the like button while I get this shit together, man. I gotta log in. I forgot my computer crashed yesterday. One of the mods, man, shout out to you. You know who you are. They're gonna send me some damn RAM so I can upgrade my laptop, but my computer crashed yesterday, so I had to re-download all of my programs. So I had to log back in. All right, here we go.
Name is Samaria.
Come back to my training, guys.
Kind of nervous about this question.
Now we're gonna be nice and gentle. We've been doing that all night.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. So I've been talking to this man for 19 months. After talking to him for a while, he told me he was married, but he's separated. And in NC, you have to be separated for a full year before you get divorced.
So chat, I've been with somebody before who was married but separated. And I didn't know in the beginning. I think I didn't know until like probably like a month and a half, 2 months into being serious is when, you know, I figured it out. Well, I ain't figured it out. She told me. But yeah, I have been in that situation before with somebody who was married and separated. And yeah, I was probably about a month and a half before I figured it out. She said she's 19 months in, which is crazy.
Divorce. So they're living separately. However, he's...
Oh shit, I see some green on the screen. We got young Mert coming through supporting the channel via super chat and said, plug my fellow FBA. Happy FBA Day, young Mert. You know it just passed. Just figured out you from Arkansas. I got a good friend from the same town as Scotty. Hey, Scotty is a living legend. Did y'all see Scotty Pippen got a new girlfriend? She's like 23. I know Laura Pimpin is punching the air right now. She been putting belt to ass on Scotty for all these years just for this nigga to pop out with a 23-year-old, bro. I know she's pissed, bro. Amber Leslie said, turn on gifts. Memberships are coming. They were kind to me the other night. I have to repay it. Thank you, Amber. Amber said, make sure you got gift memberships on. Thank you, Amber. But yeah, Laura Pimpin punching the air right now, Chad.
Still hasn't signed the divorce papers. Granted, his mom passed away in July, Memorial in August, which is the same month he was supposed to sign the papers.
Oh, you said, did I leave? You said, did I leave, Jason? No, I didn't leave. Amber just dropped 10 gifted. Thank you, Amber, for the 10 gifted. Everyone who received a gifted membership, please thank Amber. I've been dropping members first videos all week. So you will be able to enjoy the perks of your membership. You got some cool emojis. You get members first videos. I'm doing them all year. Thank you, Amber, for supporting the channel. But yeah, I did stay, Jason. I ended up being in that relationship for a while. I was there when the divorce got finalized and some more shit. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I definitely was in that relationship for a little minute. It was like a month and a half into it that I found out she was married and separated. But yeah, the divorce ended up going through and we rocked out for a little minute. We had a good run. I'll say it like that. We had a good run.
So am I being impatient for kind of like, what's up with the papers?
Okay, let me contextual. In this, because I want to get, so North Carolina, you have to be separated for a year. What's the purpose?
Yeah, like, I never had talked to her husband or nothing, but like he was always pretty, you know, chill. Like he never got rah-rah with me. I never got rah-rah with him. Like, he was kind of holding up the divorce for a minute. I think they got married like right out of high school. They went into the military. It was like a military marriage. And yeah, after like shit, a month or two, he finally was like, you know what, it is what it is. Shit, we can get divorced. And they ended up getting divorced. I don't know how long they have been separated though, to be honest.
So that separation for a year. To see if y'all can get back together. Okay. Y'all don't like that law? Y'all want to just be done when you done. Okay.
Can we do some math though? She said she's been talking to this man for 19 months.
Yeah, we started off as friends at first.
A year is 12 months.
Hold on.
Thank you,
12 months is
Deborah.
19. That's 7 left.
Yeah, there's a little overlap there.
It's a little overlap.
Context question. When you asked him why he hadn't signed it yet, what did he say?
So he was like, because I'm pretty much, I guess, pressing him to sign the papers, and he's like, he's not pressed to sign the papers. But why do you want to be with me if you're not pressed to sign the papers? So I'm kind of taking a step back from it.
Where are the papers at? Have we seen said papers? Because you know this nigga signs shit every day. He signed the check at the restaurant. You sign shit every day. So my question is,
See, she think it's just that simple too, and I don't think, a lot of times men don't put women in their business. So she might think it's as simple as signing the paperwork, but that woman could be trying to take everything from him. That woman could be trying to get alimony. She could be trying to get, a lot of shit going on. So he's on some shit like, hey, look, man, I'm not finna sign this shit off the rip. We got to run this shit by my attorney. So I can kind of see it from both sides.
do he have the said papers? The papers, I'm sorry.
He said he has them downloaded in his phone or sent to the.
So he can docu-sign this shit. Okay. So it's not his hand works, right? He can.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with his wrist.
Nothing wrong with.
Okay. With that context.
Now I was gonna say, like, have you seen?
Yeah, like when my parents had got divorced, my OG tried to get some alimony, and my pops wasn't going for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Pops wasn't really going for that alimony shit. So I guess, he ran it by his lawyer, and they came to a different agreement, He pretty much gave up everything. Like, Pops was like, look, I'll give you everything, but I'm not paying alimony. So that's kind of how their situation went.
Seen the papers personally?
I haven't seen them. We went to the print shop, and I'm looking for him to print them papers.
Yeah, that's because they don't
He act
exist.
like he couldn't find them papers.
Yeah, that's because they don't exist. I think a lot of men will say that, and women get caught up in that aspect that, yeah, I'm leaving my wife, I'm getting separated, just so I could continue to keep you there. I know if I say, I really want to go back to my wife, but we would be for right now, I'm going back, you're going to run. You understand what I'm saying? So he want to keep you there, so he going to say what it takes to keep you there. And my advice to women in a situation with this, even if the guy is genuine, let's just wait till the paperwork signed just to be safe. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all ain't live together. Yeah, y'all got kids and y'all ain't been intimate and all of these things. But when the shit is signed and finalized and notarized, you send that to me, then we can start dating. Then we can start talking. But if you put yourself in a situation like that, he gonna waste years of your time. You said 19 months. That's damn near 2 years of your time wasted. And let me give you a little cheat code. He's not leaving his wife.
Right. Dude, or have you verified that he lives by himself right now?
Yes.
So he lives by himself.
He lives by
So that's
himself.
secondly, when you said y'all been friends for 19 months, how did you become friends with this man?
So we started off working together.
It's always work, bro. It's always work, bro. It's always work, bro. And y'all want to know what's crazy, chat? I haven't never had a job like a long, long time. I've had a job for a few years at a time, but I've never messed with nobody at my jobs, chat. I used to see all the work relationships, people leaving their husbands to get with women, leaving their husbands to get with other women on the job, and women, the new hires coming through and getting sent around the circuit with all the employees and shit. But I didn't fuck around, bro. I did not fuck around at work, bro. I couldn't do it. It was so messy, bro. I remember one time, this nigga, I knew him from the streets. He ended up getting a job. I was already in management at the time. He was working in the back in the lab. He had a girl, and he was trying to holler at the other supervisor. She had a man, and he ended up, I guess his girl went out of town one time. She went out of town, so he gets so thirsty that he's texting the supervisor like, hey, just send me some pictures, come over, you coming and shit, coming through or whatever. And she ended up sending him some naked pictures. And his girl get back off vacation, and she go through his phone and find the naked pictures. So she went and found the girl on Facebook, tagged her, posted the naked pictures, and then locked him out of his Facebook. He came to work, didn't even know this shit was going on, bro. He's at work when he finds out. Both of them are at work when they find out, bro. Man, they fired both their ass so quick, bro. They fired their ass so quick, bro.
Work wife.
Them work wives. Okay.
You know, I think I just would say this. So here's what's actually happening. What's actually happening from a psychological perspective is you want to believe him. So you have convinced yourself that this is going to happen to justify the behavior. But the reality is there is no urgency for him to make it happen. Why buy the cow if the milk free?
Right.
And so what he's going to continue to do, he's going to continue down the road, because the longer you do it, the more you get into acceptance mode.
Right.
The more it becomes normal for you to keep doing what you're doing and accepting what he's saying.
Additionally,
That's the fear.
He kind of look like Mike Epps.
thank you, Dimitri. How kind. Another thing is that you said that his mother passed away, and then the memorial, and then let me tell you this. And look, I could say this because both my parents ain't here. It don't matter if his mama dead, the dog dead, the goldfish is dead. A man that wants to be with you is gonna. It don't matter what is going on right now. I know that there's processes and all this stuff that happens with divorce, but a man that wants to be with you is going to make it happen. He will cross the Red Sea. He will climb the Sears Tower, okay? He will make it happen.
Get married. So that's why I'm like taking a step back, because I want to get married.
This is why I ask, because alignment matters more than anything.
Right.
The way your life and his life,
Thank you, Big
you have a
Niche.
desire he does not have, you're going to live an unfulfilled life. And I'd rather not see you do that. So what I want you to do is tell this man what your non-negotiables are, what your boundaries are. If you want to get married and he doesn't, that draws the line already.
Right.
All of this waiting is for no reason.
All right, man, we kind of see what's going on. She been dealing with dude for 19 months and just found out he was damn married, man. Now he ain't trying to sign the divorce papers, man. Everyone double tap the screen. We got to hit the like goals chat. Let's get to the like goals by double tapping that screen for me. We're going to get into some of the news. I'm going to tell y'all this story right here. It's not getting a lot of mainstream coverage, but we'll cover it over here. This guy, some sources are saying they got his age wrong, but this is Darius Chappell, man. He was arrested for an unspecified disturbance. He was severely mauled by police K9 during the arrest. They found him dead in jail on Friday. He got no medical help after the dog was attacked him. They said that witnesses on the scene are saying he was mauled for over a minute by the police dog. Over a full minute, the police dog mauled him, and then they didn't give him any medical attention. So we'll be covering that story. I'm pretty sure it'll pick up over the next few days, but right now it's just not getting any traction. Let's get into this missing boy.
Search continues for a teen reported missing from Horn Island. 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells was last seen Saturday afternoon on the northwest tip end of Horn Island.
I heard he went to a different island. I heard that he swam out trying to catch another.
All right, so look, chat, this is a sad situation. It's going viral now. This black kid went out. He was the only black kid out there, so it's gonna, of course, catch national attention. A lot of people feel a lot of ways about it. A lot of the black community is saying, I don't know why he went out there on that boat. He was the only black person. It always happens like this. A lot of other people are saying that they were just kids, you know. He was 18 years old. They went out there. I guess they were having like a boat dock party on the island. Now, his friends come back to shore, come back to their home, and he's not with them. He ends up being missing for 2 days, and on today they found him back on the island. They found his body back on the island. So yeah, I'm gonna let them break it down on what it all happened. That was just a quick synopsis.
The boat. I heard a lot of different things, but I don't know which one is true. But I need to know exactly
What's up, Dome?
what's the last thing people saw Nolan doing. It's gonna make my job a lot easier. There were some people that thought he might have, wandered off into the middle of the island. Maybe they have that lake, but we sent people up there today, and if he was barefoot, there's no way he made it up there. There's cactuses and there's just a lot of thorny brush and whatnot. He would not have comfortably been able to make it to the middle of the island. He probably would have turned around and went back toward the beach. If you were one of the group that was with him, or if you were on the island and you were there and saw anything, please don't be afraid to come forward and tell the authorities exactly what you know, no matter what you might think might be some consequences or whatnot. But it's very important.
So they put this out right before they found them. So they have found them, and he is no longer with us. They have found him, and he is no longer with us.
Important right now in these critical moments.
He was last seen walking toward the water on a holiday weekend, surrounded by friends, surrounded by people, and somehow none of them can tell us exactly what happened next. A young man, an athlete, a son, gone in broad daylight on one of.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, Chad, this story kind of touches me because I lost one of my friends this way. Out on the boat, he ended up drowning. We called 911. They put like 12 minutes on his life when he went under the water. It took like 2 hours for the rescue boats to get out there. And they did their investigation, and all of that. So this story is kind of, touchy to me. It's crazy, man. That man didn't make it home.
The busiest islands on the Gulf Coast. And the people who were closest to him in those final moments are the ones giving the fewest answers. How does someone vanish in front of a crowd and nobody sees a thing? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, the public hasn't been given answers to. It was the 4th of July, a day meant for cookouts, fireworks, boats on the water, the kind of day where nothing is supposed to go wrong. Nolan Xavier Wells, a young football player with his entire future ahead of him, traveled out to Horn Island with a group of friends. And here's something important to understand right away. Horn Island is not some hidden, deserted stretch of land. It's a popular barrier island off the Mississippi coast, part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore. On a normal weekend, it sees traffic. On a holiday weekend...
Nah, it was a lot of people out there. It wasn't just all guys out there. It was a lot of people out there. I seen where they had the boats docked and everybody was in the water. He did seem to be the only black person out there. It may have been one other black person in the picture. I'm not sure. But for sure, if he wasn't the only black person, he was one of two.
Like the 4th of July.
But it was a lot of people out there.
Boats everywhere. People everywhere. Music, coolers, crowds. This was not an isolated place where someone could disappear without witnesses. This was a crowded island filled with potential eyes, and that's where the first major question begins. If this island was so crowded, how is it that nobody has come forward with a clear, complete account of what happened to Nolan? Around 3 p.m. that afternoon, Nolan was last seen on the west tip of the northern side of the island. Blue swim trunks. No shirt, sunglasses on. That moment, captured in a photo, provided a clear, consistent time.
Man, I can't do her voice, bro. Like, her voice is terrible. Like, is that fucking AI? Like, that's Law and Crime Network. Like, what's up with her voice, bro? Like, damn. Like, that shit's unbearable, bro. Let me find a different news clip, bro. Damn. That shit was terrible. All right, here we go. Damn, that shit was terrible.
The search is on for a missing teen in Jackson County. 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells was last seen yesterday afternoon around 3 o'clock on Horn Island. Jackson County Sheriff's Office is currently searching for the missing teen with the help of DMR and the Coast Guard. United Cajun Navy is also aiding in the search. Now, if you saw Wells yesterday at the island, give Jackson County deputies a call. They're telling us that your information could help narrow their search for this missing teen.
Deuteronomy 7:2-3 says, and when the Lord your God.
Man. I thought, oh my God, I didn't know this was a nigga talking, man. Where is the news clips at, man? Damn, see, chat, they don't even got news clips. It's just niggas talking, bro. Not trying to hear this nigga talk. Shout out to him, though, for being a creator, man, but you not what we looking for right now, nigga.
Breaking news, a body has been found on Horn Island near where missing 18-year-old Nolan Wells went missing. Search crews like this one you see here in the air have been searching for him for more than 40 hours now.
We got word here just at about 8:45 that there was a body found on Horn Island, and the officials are now working on bringing that back.
See, chat, I told y'all there was a lot of people out there. It's a lot of people out there. It's just not many, they are kids out there, teenagers, but it's just not many black people out there. Double tap the screen, hit the live, shut the live out, chat. Double tap the screen, shut the live out. I don't care if you share it to the last person you text or the last person you talk to, man. Double tap this screen. Let's get the likes up, man. We gotta hit the like goals tonight. Also, thank you for the super chats. Let me acknowledge the super chats, and we're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Let me acknowledge everyone. Thank you, Amber, for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, Big Niche, for the gifts. Thank you, Amber Leslie, again for the $5. Thank you, Young Merc, for the $5. And thank you, Ronnie, for the $5, man. Thank you, everyone who has supported the show tonight. Thank you, everyone who has supported the show tonight.
A cell phone resting on the deck of a boat miles away from its owner. A teenager left behind on a remote waterlocked barrier island. A group of friends returning to the mainland without the very person they brought with them. Everything about this scene had been arranged. The placement, the angle, the story it was trying to tell. Except one thing didn't add up. By the time investigators finished their first hour on scene, they knew this wasn't what it looked like. And the harder they looked, the more the arrangement started working against the person who built it. This is the story of Nolan Xavier Wells and the narrative of a simple...
You said, Nick said, what's the COD? Your delivery sounds like propaganda. You're in a bubble popic. 65% of America is white as fuck. I don't know what you mean, some more. The reason this is going viral is because shit, and the black community, they tell you, hey, look, man, you don't go get on the boat all out in the water, man, and you the only nigga there. You don't go hunting and all out and you the only nigga there, man. You barely go fishing like that, but you don't be all out in the woods, guns and shit, you know, your ass get Dick Cheney'd out there, man. This is straight up. What's up, Delphine?
That was never as convincing as those who left him behind thought. Born in 2008, Nolan Xavier Wells was the kind of kid who instinctively understood the emotional temperature of a room. Growing up in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, a picturesque coastal town where the humidity hangs heavy and Friday night high school football dictates the social hierarchy, Nolan didn't just participate in his community, he anchored it. By the time he was 18, he stood an imposing 6'1", weighing 180 pounds, possessing the kind of athletic frame built for the gridiron. But physical intimidation was the absolute antithesis of his personality. In a demographic where teenage boys often posture and clash, Nolan was the designated diplomat. His childhood friends, a tight-knit group who had navigated the complex transition from middle school to young adulthood together, universally recognized him as the calming influence. When arguments sparked, Nolan was the one who extinguished them. He possessed a rare, quiet gravity. As one close friend described him, he was the kind of person who could spark up a whole room without ever raising his voice. He was a role model, deeply respected not just for his athletic prowess, but for his profound sense of empathy. This empathy was a direct reflection of his family environment. His mother, Christine Wansley, and his father, Elmore Wansley, raised a son whose kindness was his defining metric of success. Christine would later articulate the
See, next, you not understanding what they saying. You saying white kids are not unaliving black kids for fun. Sounds like pro-segregation. If this dude got it was over girl, not race as always. I don't know. With this Carmelo Anthony situation, they could have called him a watermelon felon or anything out there. I just went through a kind of situation like that for no reason. But what I'm saying is this. It's not that we're saying that white kids are going around killing black kids for fun. We're saying that some situations you just don't put yourself into. You don't put yourself in there miles away from the fucking land on a boat and you ain't got nobody out there that, you know what I'm saying? Nobody. You the only nigga out there. That's just not some shit you do all the time. Going out in the woods with a lot of guns and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's when you get put into situations to where you can be lured somewhere. Now, did that happen here? We don't know. This is brand new. This is fresh. They just found the body. I'm sure they'll find the cause of death, whether it was foul play involved or whether it wasn't foul play involved. I'm just saying, as growing up in the South, these are things that you hear. Hey, you don't take your ass over out there, way all out in the water and shit, man. You don't take your ass all deep in the woods. Just straight up. You take somebody with you.
Depth of his spirit with a heartbreakingly beautiful sentiment. Nolan was a special soul. God took his time creating our son. That careful creation extended to his work ethic. Nolan was a general business major and a standout wide receiver. He had recently completed his freshman year at Southwest Mississippi Community College, SMCC, in Summit. He was a disciplined athlete, a young man who understood schedules, responsibilities, and the consequences of reckless behavior. He even took formal swimming lessons at the local YMCA, adding a layer of aquatic competency to his physical skill set. For Nolan, the summer of 2026 was a brief, sunlit pause between the grueling demands of college semesters. He was scheduled to return to the SMCC campus on Monday, July 6th, to begin rigorous football practice for his sophomore season. His bags were practically packed.
See, what we mean by that is, you say it's not about the color of your skin, it's about the content of your character. You're right. But this is what we're saying. You said, Plugs, you don't know, wait for some more information. I just said that. But what I'm saying is this. They left his ass out there. Talking about he probably caught a ride with somebody or done something. I don't know about y'all, but my friends don't leave nobody. If I came with you to this motherfucker, I'm leaving with you, away from this motherfucker. Or they're gonna have to pull me away from this motherfucker. Or the police is gonna come and we're gonna look for you together. We're not leaving this island without who I came with. All of this, I thought he got on the boat with somebody else or he went with, nah, we gonna make sure of that. And if it's money, my partner Money, y'all know, Money not even getting on the boat with nobody else. That shit over with. We came here together, we leaving together, nigga. It is what it is. I don't care if you got a girl waiting on you. I don't care if you got somewhere that you can do that shit when we make it back. Real friends don't fucking leave you.
His future was mapped out in yardage, business classes, and the unwavering support of his family, including his deeply protective grandfather, Christopher Wells Sr. Nolan had everything to lose and absolutely no reason to walk away from his life. He was responsible, he was loved, and he was acutely aware of his surroundings, which makes the geographical reality of where he ended up and the people he trusted to get him there the first undeniable fracture in a story that was about to shatter completely. Welcome to Dark Truth Files. We are about to look at one of the most baffling timeline discrepancies.
Like, chat, when I tell y'all about my traumatic experience, y'all know I got PTSD from that shit. Like, when my partner drowned, we didn't leave him. Like, we called 911. Like, the boats, the search team was out there. They had to make us leave. Like, once the search team was like, it's over, they had to make us leave. I had to break the news to his mom that her baby wasn't coming home. They didn't find him till 4 days later. I had to break the news to his mom. You think I wanted to leave? I had to ride in his car back to tell his mom he's not coming home. I'm not leaving my partner. I don't give a fuck what's going on. I'm not leaving him.
In recent history. If you're new here, subscribe and hit that like button and drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. We read every single one. To understand the sheer impossibility of this case, you have to understand the isolating, unforgiving nature of Horn Island. Situated roughly 10 miles south of Pascagoula, Mississippi, Horn Island is a pristine, narrow strip of sand in the Gulf of Mexico. It is part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore. There are no bridges, there are no ferries, there are no roads, no convenience stores, and no easy ways out. The island is accessible solely by private watercraft. Once you step off a hull and onto the sand, your entire lifeline to the mainland is tethered to the person holding the keys to the boat that brought you. The 4th of July on Horn Island is a notoriously chaotic spectacle. Hundreds of boats anchor off the shore. The water becomes a dense, floating parking lot of pontoon boats, center consoles, and speedboats. The atmosphere is loud, intoxicating, and
I think this kid's name is Noah something. They said it. They'll say it again in a second.
transient. People drift from boat to boat, walking through the shallow surf, mingling in massive crowds that form and dissolve with the tide. It is a place where it is incredibly easy to lose sight of someone in the throngs of holiday revelers, but it is a place where you absolutely do not leave without doing a head count. The golden rule of Barrier Island boating is universal. Whoever you bring out, you bring back. Nolan's plan for Saturday, July.
That's a universal rule. For boating, going to the club, going to the mall, going to the trail ride, going to the country club, going to a damn concert. I don't give a fuck where you going. Yo, people, y'all come together, y'all leave together. That's a rule of thumb. That's just how we was raised, Chad. I'm not going nowhere and leaving without the people I came with. I don't care if you trying to get some ass, bro. That shit's over with. You're not getting it tonight, man. Her ass gonna have to pick you up when we get home. Straight up. Not going for that shit.
2026 was standard for a coastal teenager. He was going to the island to celebrate the holiday weekend. However, a critical logistical division occurred before they even left the dock. Nolan had a core, lifelong friend group, including his absolute best friend, Javon Williams. But boats have strict capacity limits. The vessel Nolan was slated to ride on reached its maximum weight, forcing the friend group to split up. Javon and several other childhood friends boarded a different boat. Nolan ended up traveling on a vessel with a different set of acquaintances. This separation is the foundational crack in the timeline. While the exact dynamics of the group on Nolan's boat remain part of an active case, the context of his isolation began the moment that engine turned over. He was physically separated.
Now they done put him on a boat with some fucking randoms. Oh my God. See? That's what I'm saying, man. That's the shit I'm talking about right there, chat. Yes, we just wouldn't have been on the boat that day. We would have found another activity. If bruh and them can't get on with me, man, he's the only one got to get on a different boat. No, bro, that shit's over with, man. Or we would have got on there. We would have split half and half then. Shit. 4 of us finna go on this boat, 4 of us finna go on that boat. That's the only way that shit's rocking. If we just seen him in a picture with like 8 people, man. 4 of us would have went over here, 4 of us would have went over there, bro. Or our ass just wouldn't have got on. It would have been over with.
From the lifelong friends who knew his habits, his demeanor, and his exact whereabouts. As they cut through the 10 miles of open water toward the island, the safety net
10 miles out. Now they 10 miles away from mainland. 10 miles away from mainland on a boat with some motherfuckers you don't even know. 10 miles away from mainland on a boat with some motherfuckers you ain't even know. Shit like this, and I'm not trying to blame the parents because he was older. He was grown. He was 18 years old. He was grown. He was 18. He was in college and everything. But shit like this, oh, my damn camera died. But shit like this makes me glad that my parents told me no a whole lot growing up. I used to ask my parents, could I go places and do shit? And they used to let me go some places and do certain shit. But most of the time, bro, when I was just doing too much or it was a too big of an ass, they'd be like, hell no, it's over with.
Of lifelong loyalty was cruising parallel to him, but fundamentally disconnected. The boats arrived at the western tip of the north side of Horn Island. The anchors dropped, the teenagers spilled out into the waist-deep water, the holiday commenced. For hours, Nolan was seen navigating the crowded shoreline, blending in with the hundreds of other teenagers baking in the brutal Mississippi sun. But as the afternoon wore on, the vast, crowded shoreline began to thin. Boats started pulling their anchors to beat the evening tide back to the mainland. The chaotic energy of the daytime party began to condense and the margins for error evaporated. On a barrier island, the difference between a minor miscommunication and a fatal abandonment is measured in minutes. And the minutes were rapidly ticking down toward a departure that defies all logical explanation. By 3:00 p.m., on the afternoon of July 4th, the intense Mississippi heat was at its peak. The crowds on the northwest tip of Horn Island were still thick, a shifting mass of teenagers, loud music, and marine exhaust. This precise hour marks the final, universally confirmed anchor point in the timeline of Nolan Wells' life. Incident Commander Josh Gill and local authorities established a hard fact. At 3:00 p.m., Nolan was standing on the north end of the island. He was wearing distinctive blue swim trunks. He had on sunglasses to block the brutal glare off the Gulf, and he was shirtless. He was not alone. Authorities confirmed he was actively engaged in a conversation, hanging out with a young woman. This unidentified girl is the epicenter of the timeline's collapse.
Here we go.
She represents the final known interaction, the last person to look Nolan in the eye, hear his voice, and observe his state of mind. Yet, in the immediate aftermath, her identity, her whereabouts, and her account of that conversation vanished into the humid air. Simultaneously, the mechanics of a catastrophic failure in human decency were taking place.
Hey, do y'all remember that case to where the lady was cleaning her gun in the house and shot her boyfriend, the black guy, and she said she was cleaning the gun, but they figured out there was no way she could have been. Y'all know she got off of that, like she beat that shit, like they're saying that she was actually cleaning her gun and smoked them.
Near the water's edge. The group of acquaintances Nolan had traveled with decided it was time to leave. The protocol for departing a barrier island is rigid. You account for every soul on your manifest. You text them. You wait for them. You physically locate them. But this group did not wait. The anchor was pulled. The throttle was pushed forward. The boat began its 10-mile journey back to the Mississippi coastline. As they navigated the open water of the Gulf, leaving the fading silhouette of Horn Island behind them, a physical object remained on their deck, Nolan's cell phone. In 2026, a cell phone is a teenager's central nervous system. It is their wallet, their map, their communication hub, and their lifeline. The idea that an 18-year-old would voluntarily abandon his device on a boat, or that his travel companions would not immediately notice its presence and recognize the glaring absence of its owner, strains the boundaries of belief. They had his sole means of communication. They possessed the very instrument he would need to call for help, to coordinate a ride, or to signal his location. They returned to the mainland dock. They disembarked. And eventually, this device was handed over to Nolan's family. The moment Christine and Elmore Wansley were handed their son's phone without their son attached to it, the horrifying reality of the situation crystallized. Nolan was not lost in a crowd. He was not ignoring their calls. He was completely stripped of his ability to communicate, stranded on a desolate strip of sand in the middle of the ocean while the...
Man, I know their stomachs just went to the fucking floor. Their stomachs just went to the floor. I know it did. Oh my God.
sun began to set on the Gulf of Mexico. The people who brought him out had returned. The device that connected him to the world had returned. but the peacemaker of Ocean Springs was gone,
Hit the
swallowed
like
by
button,
a
chat.
silence that was about to echo across the entire country. By the evening of July 4th, the panic in the Wansley and Wells households escalated from a quiet dread into a full-scale, frantic mobilization. The realization that Nolan was stranded without a phone on a boat access-only island triggered a massive multi-agency response. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department, the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, the U.S. Coast Guard, and the Harrison County Sheriff's Department descended on the area. The command post was rapidly established at the Lake Marsh.
How long till they got out there? How long? He's been missing since the 4th of July. They took him his phone back probably later that night. They didn't, like, how long till the search team got there? 12 hours, 16 hours. They just found him today. How long was he out there with no fucking phone? On an island, bro. Shit is crazy. 10 miles away from mainland. Shit is crazy.
Mars boat launch. Search and rescue helicopters chopped through the night sky, casting blinding
What's up,
spotlights
Tomcat?
over the dark waters and the shifting dunes of the Gulf Islands National Seashore. When dawn broke on Sunday, July 5th, the United Cajun Navy.
They left them out there on some naked and afraid shit, bro. That's some naked and afraid shit, bro. Honestly, that's some damn 10 miles out on a damn island and you're by yourself, no phone, nothing. That's some naked and afraid shit, bro.
Navy, a highly specialized volunteer emergency response organization known for navigating treacherous southern waters, joined the search. They deployed fleets of boats, drones, and ATVs to scour every inch of Horn Island's western tip. The topography of the island is deceptive. While it appears flat from a distance, it is heavily textured with dense sea oats, shifting sandbars.
This is the thing. He was black and they didn't wait 2 weeks to look for him. They waited at least 12 to 24 hours because nobody was looking for him. His friends say that they thought he caught a ride with someone else. They had his phone. He's out there. That's the problem. They shouldn't have left the island till the search was on. The search team should have met them on the damn island and started looking for him. That's the problem I have with it. I wouldn't have left my partner. It's over with. Before the first boats and all of that shit get to taking off, we got a rendezvous before anybody get to leaving off this motherfucker.
And murky, unpredictable tidal currents. While the physical search tore through the physical landscape, Nolan's mother, Christine, took to Facebook to wage a digital war against time. Her desperate pleas flooded local feeds. This is our Nolan Wells, aka Nono, one of the sweetest and kindest souls you could ever meet. He went missing on Horn Island on July 4th. I'm looking for any pics or video.
Hey, Chad, this is a pretty good chapstick, too. Like, not sponsored, man, but this is that satin nectar joint. This is a satin nectar chapstick, bro. Y'all should try it.
Videos that was taken on the northwest tip of Horn. Please help us find our sunshine. Law enforcement recognized the need to crowdsource intelligence from the hundreds of teenagers who had been on the island. They needed visual evidence of Nolan's movements. In an attempt to jog memories, police released a photograph taken on the day of the disappearance. It showed Nolan standing in the shallow water wearing his blue trunks and sunglasses. But the image authorities chose to release contained a glaring, intentional modification. The photograph was heavily cropped.
Jason, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black, man? Chill out.
The faces of the white males standing immediately next to Nolan in the original picture had been deliberately cut out by law enforcement before the public release. In an era of hyper-vigilant internet culture, releasing a cropped photo of a missing black teenager to obscure the identities of the white acquaintances he was with is the equivalent of dropping a match into a powder keg. The official intent may have been to protect the privacy of uncharged individuals, but the public perception was immediate and explosive. The internet didn't just see a missing persons flyer, they saw a cover-up.
To the police department's credit, maybe some of these kids could have been minors, or maybe they were believed to be minors. They're right at that 18-year-old mark, so maybe they didn't know if one of them was gonna be a minor or not. Cause you know how it is about releasing minors' photos and information and shit. So with the age being that close to high school still, I don't know. They could have done it on purpose, but maybe they thought someone might have been minors.
They saw a law enforcement agency prioritizing the anonymity of the people who left Nolan behind over the transparency required to find him.
See, if you're the white person and you the only white person in a group full of black people, you'll probably be all right. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you grew up with them. If you grew up with them, yeah, you'll probably be all right, man. For sure.
Within hours, the cropped photo leaped from local Mississippi Facebook groups to national platforms, mutating the search for a missing college athlete into a viral digital manhunt where everyone was a suspect. And trust in the official narrative completely disintegrated. By Sunday evening, the disappearance of Nolan Wells had transcended regional news and forcefully hijacked the national algorithms. The digital discourse on platforms like X, Facebook, and Instagram wasn't just analyzing the facts, it was actively weaponizing them. The online true crime community, fueled by the terrifying contradiction of the abandoned cell phone and the heavily cropped police photograph, rapidly formed a consensus. This was not a tragic swimming accident. This was something deeply malicious. The racial dynamics of the trip became the inescapable focal point of the viral narrative. High-profile voices, including author Ibram X. Kendi, amplified the intense social media scrutiny. Millions of users pointed to a terrifying, historically rooted pattern. A young black man travels with white acquaintances to a remote location only to vanish, while his companions return home safe, silent, and with his belongings. The internet
Hey, I don't know if this guy's trying to rage bait that's doing this story or what, but he said it, not me. Now, when I told y'all at the beginning, it's been a tale as long as I've known, since I've been young. Your ass don't go deep off in that water far out, and ain't nobody, no niggas with you. Your ass don't go all off in them woods with them guns and shit, and you the only nigga. Now, when this man says it just is what it is. But when I said it, y'all was like, oh no, plug, that's not true. He just fucking said it. Story old as time. Your ass don't be going all the way out there, man, by your damn self.
demanded the unedited photo. They demanded the names of the boys on the boat. They demanded the identity of the unidentified young woman Nolan was last seen speaking to. Web sleuths began cross-referencing social media profiles of Ocean Springs teenagers, analyzing background details of July 4th TikToks, and relentlessly harassing anyone suspected of being on that specific boat. The theories grew darker and more complex by the hour. Was there a physical altercation? Was he deliberately lured away by the unknown girl to isolate him from the crowd? Did the group intentionally leave him stranded as a twisted prank that turned fatal? Conversely, the darkest corners of the internet
until we get the autopsy, if there is no foul play, then that's probably what happened. They just left him out there and didn't think it was that big of a deal. You know, maybe it wasn't his friends, but maybe the other people he allegedly got on the boat with, somebody left him out there and they thought it was funny. That's what I think happened. I don't know. We'll get more details as it comes out, but I don't think he was like bludgeoned to death or strangled or anything like that. I'm not thinking there was that happened. As of now, I think they just left him, and the elements were too much, man. It was just too fucking much out there.
began engaging in grotesque victim blame.
We're gonna find though. We're gonna find out whether if because they got the body now, so they got to do an autopsy. So We'll figure it out.
Claiming faceless accounts argued that an 18-year-old should have been responsible enough to keep track of his own ride, attempting to shift the burden of survival entirely onto Nolan. The noise became deafening. The viral frenzy was actively traumatizing a family that was currently standing at a boat launch, staring out at the Gulf, waiting for a rescue team to bring their son home. The situation deteriorated to the point where Nolan's grandfather, Christopher Wells Sr., a man crushed by the agonizing weight, had to log onto Facebook to command the internet to stand down. His message was a masterclass in restrained fury and profound grief. It's time for answers, but be mindful, they need space and need to grieve. He wrote, addressing the millions of digital detectives tearing his grandson's final hours apart. There has been enough finger pointing, let law enforcement do their job. He understood what the internet refused to accept. Viral speculation does not bring people home. Theories do not alter physical reality. And while the digital world was busy ripping the timeline to shreds, searching for a grand conspiracy, the brutal, unrelenting currents of the Gulf of Mexico were quietly preparing to deliver the only truth that actually mattered. The agonizing suspension of hope shattered on the morning of Monday, July 6, 2026, at approximately 8:45 a.m., just as Nolan's teammates at SMCC were preparing for the football practice he was supposed to attend. A U.S. park ranger was patrolling the shoreline. Looking out into the water just offshore on the west end of Horn Island, the ranger spotted something breaking the surface. It was a body. The massive, multi-agency rescue operation was immediately halted. The United Cajun Navy officially suspended their active search efforts. The perimeter was secured, and the agonizing process of recovery began. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter addressed the press shortly after, confirming the devastating reality. The physical description of the recovered remains matched that of 18-year-old Nolan Xavier Wells. The blue swim trunks, the athletic build, the geography of the discovery. It all aligned with the nightmare the family had been living for 48 hours. Jackson County Coroner Bruce Lynn Jr. took custody of the remains, initiating the formal clinical procedures required by law. The body was transported to the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office. DNA testing was immediately ordered in conjunction with the family to make the official, undeniable identification and to conduct a comprehensive autopsy to determine the precise cause of death. The confirmation sent a shockwave of profound grief through Ocean Springs. Friends gathered at the Lake Mars boat launch, no longer to search, but to mourn the peacemaker who had always kept them grounded. Christine Wansley, forced to endure the unimaginable, released a statement that captured the total devastation of a mother whose bright, compassionate son was taken under circumstances that defy all basic human decency. His father, our family, friends, and I are absolutely devastated. My heart is broken for my sweet son, who was always willing to cheer and uplift others. But as the grief settled in, the glaring, unresolved contradictions remained. The official investigation by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department remains highly active. Detectives are still working backward, interviewing individuals who were present on the island, attempting to map the exact trajectory from the 3:00 p.m. conversation with the unknown girl, to the moment the boat engine started, to the waters off the west end of the island. The timeline is broken. The phone on the boat is a silent witness to a departure that should never have happened.
Dang.
And the question of how a group of people could leave a remote island without the boy they brought with them is no longer just viral speculation. It is the central, haunting focus of a police investigation. Nolan Wells did not deserve to be left behind. And until the full truth of those final hours on Horn Island is officially established, the silence of those who returned without him will continue to speak louder than words ever could. This has been Dark Truth Files. Thank you for watching, and stay vigilant.
Hey man, shout out to Dark Truth Files for that, man.
More
Answers
people keep
for
asking,
Nolan
is
Wells,
Senator
man.
Mitch McConnell
We want answers for Nolan Wells, man. We want answers for Nolan Wells, man. And if there is foul play, we want justice for Nolan Wells, man. Answers for Nolan Wells for sure. Double tap the screen, shut a live out chat. We are 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal, and we're 25 likes away from the next like goal. We're gonna get into this Mitch McConnell. As we know, they said Mitch McConnell is officially brain dead, and his wife, which is his next of kin, who would be able to, pull the plug, has fled to China. So we're going to cover this Mitch McConnell.
Alive right now, and this is getting to be a weirder and weirder story. And we have a new wrinkle that is so bizarre that I don't even know what to make of it. We have now learned that 3 days after Mitch McConnell was rushed to the hospital, his wife, former Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, reportedly met with a top official in Beijing. And we've also learned that he was taken to the hospital after being found unconscious, a detail that took weeks to get about what happened with Mitch McConnell. So let me catch you up and then we'll talk about the new information. The former Senate Majority Leader, still a Republican Senator, Mitch McConnell, was hospitalized on June 14th. We are now getting close to a month ago. We didn't know where he was hospitalized, and we didn't know why he was hospitalized. Now, eventually, it was revealed which hospital he was being cared for in. We still had no idea.
This man is still holding office. He is brain dead and still holding office, allegedly. How the hell does he still have his seat? How, bro? Like, how?
Why he was there. There were statements from his office that he was recovering nicely, but from what? We didn't know. Remember that Mitch McConnell also had 2 incidents recently where he froze while talking, just like that.
Bro, I thought I was fucking lagging. Man, David Pagman, quit for all that fucking playing, man. I thought I was lagging, bro. Quit all that fucking playing, David Pagman.
And we never got an explanation for those either. After he froze again, we were told he's feeling much better. But feeling much better from what condition? Like, what on earth is going on here? He was also hospitalized earlier this year for what was described as a flu-like illness. Also very opaque circumstances, very little transparency. And then we learned that he was found unconscious and an ambulance had been called when the June 14th incident happened. We don't know what medical condition was playing out. We don't know what his medical condition and status are today. And now the news is that 3 days into his hospitalization, his wife was in China meeting with the vice president of China. This is per a news release from Chinese officials.
Traitor.
So McConnell is hospitalized after being found unresponsive on June 14th. And on June 17th, his wife is in China meeting with the vice president of China. Now, putting aside for a second that we have no idea why she was meeting with the Chinese VP, like, was this official business?
Her ass need to be by her husband's side.
That it was for mutual partnerships or something totally
Fuck
generic.
that. She should have been with her husband.
Why is she doing that 3 days after her husband is hospitalized under secrecy after allegedly being found unconscious? It's all very strange. Now, we don't know whether Mitch McConnell plans to resign at this point from the Senate.
How the fuck you gonna resign?
Said before, it certainly doesn't seem like he has any capacity to do this job. Pat and I spoke about this on the bonus show last week, and whatever needs to happen, it doesn't seem like he's coming back to be a senator anytime soon. And it has now been 22, 23 days since he's been hospitalized. Now, remember that there was speculation that what was going on with McConnell, maybe if he died, it was being hidden because they didn't want Democratic Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear appointing McConnell's replacement in the Senate, who would certainly be a Democrat if a Democratic governor gets the opportunity to do it. But that's not how the law works in Kentucky, so we were able to debunk that. If indeed it was
a special election
that Mitch McConnell had passed away, Andy Beshear wouldn't get to appoint anyone. It would be decided by a special election. That race is up for election anyway. McConnell's retiring. So in 4 months, So
with the special election, that means anybody can run as an independent. So Thomas Massie will be able to throw his name in the hat as an independent and run for McConnell's seat. So they're saying that that's why they're keeping McConnell on life support until at least after August 3rd. If they keep him on life support anytime after August 3rd, they will not be able to hold a special election because it will be too close to the actual election time. So with that being said, Thomas Massie would not be able to have his name on the ballot because he would not be able to, join.
Be electing a new senator anyway. You might not even need a special election, but there would be no appointment for Mandy Bashir. So that can't be the explanation. Hey, real quick, if you're watching on YouTube right now, would you mind hitting the subscribe to right-wing shows and higher than even corporate media channels and keep building this progressive independent ecosystem? And if you're already subscribed, thank you. Every single one counts. Technically alive, but on life support with no hope of recovery. Rumors are flying, and there is a complete and total lack of transparency. Now, I know that every once in a while when you talk about stuff like this, someone will go, oh, but what about HIPAA? You're asking HIPAA to be violated of medical privacy. HIPAA applies to medical providers. Any transparency that could be provided willingly by Mitch McConnell's office or his family would have nothing to do with HIPAA. And I would even go further. I don't even really think this is about Mitch McConnell anymore. Not really. It's more about, does the American public deserve basic transparency when someone holds one of the most powerful elected offices in the country? He's recovering nicely after a few days in the hospital, and 2 more weeks go by, and he hasn't been seen or heard from. Isn't transparency. So it's weird to say, but this is one of the most senior senators in the Senate, former majority leader, one of 100 of the most powerful votes in the country on issues of legislation. Do we need proof of life? Like, at this point, is it crazy to say, before we go any further, we've got to make sure he's even alive at this point in time? No one is entitled to every medical detail about Mitch McConnell, but there's medical privacy and then there's total secrecy. Right now, we're in the total secrecy phase. And imagine if this were a Democratic senator. Imagine that this were Chuck Schumer. Right-wing media would be running wall-to-wall coverage saying we need answers. Is he fit for office? How is he still controlling a vote that he may not have the fitness to execute? And they would be accusing, by the way, Democrats of a cover-up for sure. So I don't believe the standard should change depending on party. When Democrats have gone missing, there was a congresswoman who was missing and she was in a memory care facility. We called it out. We said this is unacceptable. We need transparency. This also raises an even broader issue of aging political leadership and our gerontocracy. If someone is physically or cognitively unable to carry out the responsibilities of their office, we as the public have a legitimate interest in knowing that. And I don't care what letter is next to their name, if they're a Republican or if they're a Democrat. And I know many of you must be thinking, well, David, that's got to apply to Trump as well. Hell yes, it does. And of course it's important. When I say we need to know whether...
All right, chat, man. We see what's going on. Double tap the screen, shut a live out. Do you guys believe Mitch McConnell is brain dead? Yes or no? Let me know down in the comments. We are 25 likes away and 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Now, this is Tucker Carlson. He's interviewing somebody, but they're talking about the American and the and the Israeli militaries merging through the technology. They're talking about the merger of the American and Israeli militaries. Let's break this shit down. Let's see what they're talking about.
They want to merge.
All right, here we go.
Now, when you have an integration and you say you're going to eliminate duplication, that's a merger, and so they're merging. And the
U.S. military and Israeli military.
Yeah, and in specific areas like artificial intelligence and autonomous functioning of vehicles, that will increase the kill efficiency, right?
Yes.
In quantum sensing, that deals with very sophisticated data and will blur the distinction between offense and defense, okay? Cyber.
We're toast, bro. Like, we're cooked, bro. We're cooked, bro.
Electronic war is another area they want to merge in, which you can't really, if you take AI and you match it with these sophisticated technologies, you expand the ability to hurt people, really, to kill people. They want.
Bro, can Trump not write an executive order and strike this down? Like, he strikes everything else the fuck down, bro. Like, can he not just write the executive order, bro?
To merge missile defense, space defense, directed energy. It's a whole range of things, and biological technology, including potential biological warfare. What could go wrong, right? See, and I look at it this way, Tucker. The first issue is American sovereignty. I don't care, Israel or whoever. We need to maintain our sovereignty. We cannot cause another country.
Shit, he writing an executive order for everything else. This need to be some shit he need to write an executive order for. The veto power, whatever the fuck's going on, he needs to do something. You damn right. He writing an executive order about birthright citizenship, executive order about the damn everything else. Everything else he's writing executive orders about. AI, blocking AI. Hey, man, fuck it. This is some shit you need to write an executive order on, man.
Country to be involved in the decision makings that relate to the national security of the United States of America.
Yes.
We have to be singular and solitary in that regard. Unfortunately, this provision in this bill, all the safeguards go out the window. And essentially, it's a merger, and, one step from a merger is an acquisition.
You say I'm full of shit, well, you can kiss my ass. Now, how about that? Since we're talking spicy in this, I'm full of shit, kiss my ass.
I am, yeah, really, think about that. And think about this, too, in this context. We had kind of a kind of a practice run of this merger in Iran. Look what happened. The Israel, the United States at the behest of Israel goes in and attacks Iran.
Yeah.
Working with Israel on this, it ended up being a disaster on so many different levels. So that's what we've already found out from that kind of a cooperation, let's say. And now imagine if you get two parties together and they go forward from there, what could go wrong? The United States must remain sovereign. We must not in any way cede.
Listen, if it takes an executive order for the United States to remain sovereign, I'm with it. You talking about I'm over here kissing Trump's ass. I'm saying somebody needs to fucking stop this shit. I don't give a fuck who it is. It could be Hegseth. It could be Trump. It could be J.D. Vance. It could be you, motherfucker. If you got the power to do it, shit.
This idea of Israel being integrated, the militaries of the U.S. and Israel being integrated. The other thing is, it's unconstitutional. I mean, really, they bypass the treaty mechanism. We joined NATO as a treaty.
Yes.
There's no treaty here. It's just in legislation. This should be going to the Senate, at least, for approval. Not so, just to put in legislation, make it happen. And also, people, the president's the commander-in-chief of U.S. armed forces, each of whom take an oath to defend the Constitution. First of all, Israel doesn't have a constitution. Secondly, they're not taking any oath to the United States of America to protect our interests. So what is this about? Why are we becoming more vulnerable to a nation whose military values are so distinct from ours?
Well, I mean, there's so many levels here. I mean, to address that, of all the militaries you could merge with.
Well, I'm going to say it like this. You said Democrats are not two sides of the same coin, you effing numbnuts. And then you get to talking about Trump. I'm going to tell it to you like this. All of this shit is AIPAC on. We see where the money's going. We see that we've been sold the fuck out. Somebody has to stop this shit. Right now, Trump is probably the only motherfucker with veto power or can write an executive order to stop this shit. So, I don't know what else to tell you. You're okay with us giving up our sovereignty as a military, and we're not. We'll just never agree on that. Okay? That's cool. No harm, no foul. It is what it is. Shit.
Why pick the only one on the planet that's currently committing genocide? I mean, it does seem grotesque of all the militaries on the planet.
Right.
It does seem like this changes the dynamic between the United States and Israel completely were it to become law, because as it presently stands, the United States is Israel's benefactor. Israel can't fight 7 wars or whatever, how many fronts they have at any given time without the United States paying for most of it, which we do. And so we can withdraw the support and thereby control, at least theoretically, control Israel's behavior. We never have, but we could. This would, if it becomes law, integrate the militaries to such an extent that the United States would actually be at the mercy of Israel. So Israel withdraws technology and the United States military is hamstrung. So it would actually put Israel in the driver's seat.
That's right. 100% correct. And as such, it's adverse to the national security interests of the United States of America. We cannot be in a situation where there's no oversight. Congress is out of the picture once this thing passes.
What does that mean? How?
What it means is that this is run in the Defense Department with a coordinator, and that just like the daily business of the Department of Defense moves on, this becomes part of the daily business. This integration, this coordination.
So no more votes. No more votes.
No, not on these matters. No, and even more important is this: the National Defense Authorization Act authorizes $1.5 trillion annually. 80% of the discretionary budget of the United States of America is now going for military. I mean, that's horrific to begin.
You said Israel or Palestine, who invented the bombers. Listen, none of that shit matters to me. I want y'all to know that. What's going on in the Middle East is their fucking business, in my opinion. What's going on in Russia and Ukraine is their fucking business, in my opinion. What's going on in Africa is their fucking business. What's going on in North Korea is their fucking business. Straight up. Straight up.
80% of America's
80%.
discretionary budget, total discretionary budget, is going to the military?
Discretionary budget of the United States of America is about $1.9 trillion. You know, we can spend money on education, we can spend money on healthcare, we can spend money on food, nutrition programs. Infrastructure, yes. Or we can choose to spend money on the military. And President Trump has made his own case that, well, you know, we've got to protect our country.
You said it's going to matter when the bombers come to you. If the bombers are coming to me, best believe they're already in America. If we're going to talk about sleeper cells and what the fuck is going on, we're already infiltrated, man. Shit's over with. So what? What now?
But there's questions as to whether this is in our national security interest. And $1.5 trillion annually, that is a 67% increase over the previous year. The budget was $900 billion. Now it's $1.5 trillion. Think of that increase of $600 billion in 1 year. Plus, we now have a Department of War. Plus, Israel would then have access, not just to the $4 billion that we give them in military assistance. They have access to the whole Megillah, to everything.
Bro, when I say we're infiltrated as a country, y'all took that and framed it how y'all seen fit. When I say infiltrated, I'm talking about the bombers, I'm talking about the Chinese spies, the Russian spies. I'm talking about the Korean, the Asian spies. I'm talking about we're fucking infiltrated. If some shit's gonna go on, it's enough people in here to get a movement going, to have some shit going on. You pick the country.
We will be opening up the possibility of Israel having influence over a $1.5 trillion annual budget.
I feel sick hearing this. First of all, we just lost a war with Iran,
Right.
which has an economy, of the size of an American state. Okay, so you would think at that point someone would say, let's not continue feeding a system that is failing. Let's stop and assess where the money went the first time before we, up the budget.
Chat, everyone hit the like button, man. It helps us in the algorithm and it helps us grow the channel. Please double tap that screen and we're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. If this is your first time here, we go live every single night at 10 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to grab a membership or send a super chat if you want your questions read out loud.
Right? I mean, clearly what we're doing isn't working. Right.
You would think.
Okay. And this would give Israel influence over that over 80% of America's discretionary spending.
Again, let's look at, counter drones, anti-tunneling, directed energy, AI, autonomous weapons, cyber technology, electronic warfare. The national security architecture of the future. The future. Here it is. We're going to share it. Really? And also, you have to remember that Israel...
Bro, the DOD is going to have their anti-Semitism meter on 10, bro. Like, once this shit goes down, it's like the anti-Semitism meter is going to be on 10, bro. 10.
Was a conduit for taking technology from America and sending it to China. There's no guarantees in this agreement that they can't...
Motherfucker ain't even going to be able to say hummus, bro. Motherfucker ain't going to be able to say hummus.
In the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan Pollard's secrets, which he stole from the United States military, from the Navy, wound up in the hands of our arch rivals, the Soviets, because
you
Israel
don't have
gave
to
it to
spy
them.
or steal if everything's open and you're right you have a seat at the table, do you? This is... And then, as you pointed out earlier, Tucker, ethnic cleansing, genocide, these are partners. Because we're not just, taking in their IDF, let's say. We're taking in the values that we've seen demonstrated, or lack of values on, moral law, international law. What does it say about us as a country if we want this kind of a partnership in the largest expenditures of U.S. tax dollars of any single area in terms of, especially with respect to our defense?
Cost of living is already making it hard to live here.
Congress. The Inspector General of the Department of Defense said that there was over $1 trillion in accounts that could not be reconciled. That was in 1997. They couldn't keep track of over $1 trillion. Today, it's multiple trillions. They had like 1,100 different accounting systems in the Pentagon. It's engineered to where money might just disappear.
It's engineered to evade oversight. There's no way to
right now
even know what's happening.
Now it is. So this time, if we bring Israel into the picture and create this merger at the top of the most sensitive aspects of our national security, our national defense, where's that going to go? So you're merging, you're integrating, you're eliminating duplication in the context of a country that's involved in genocide and ethnic cleansing. So what do they gain from this? They gain weapons endurance, okay? Because they get these weapons system which they may not have access to right now. They'll have intelligence depth that they don't have right now. They'll have AI targeting capacity that they may or may not have right now. They will. There's no diplomatic deterrence, right? I mean, because the game's going to be led by the Department of Defense. The Department of State is going to be further diminished by this, for sure. You have, the.
Wait, can I just ask, what about, the Secretary of War, the Secretary of State, cabinet secretaries, House and Senate leaders, everyone in the White House, like, they're all on board with giving a foreign country control over our military?
Who knows who?
This is crazy because it's like you say that 90% of black people are unalived by black people, despite white Americans being 60% of the population, and you're scared of white people. Dude, like 86% of white people that are unalived by white people, and you're scared of niggas. Like, what? Like, come on, bro. Come on,
Who's
bro.
on board? It's in the legislation now, and they vote for it. It's law. This entangles our military in whatever Israel chooses to do. They want to go to war against Egypt. They want to go to war against Turkey as part of this Zionist expansion. Hey, we're pulled right along with it, and our country then becomes a target. Our country then becomes vulnerable based on anything Israel chooses to do, because we are partners then, and we have no control over that. We don't have any control over what they'll do. It's like a fantastic thinking that we can bring them into the military and all of a sudden we're going to control them. No, the way you control them is to keep the IDF at bay and try to work out some kind of diplomatic relations, which really aren't working out right now, because otherwise, why would you have so many dead people in Palestine and in Lebanon? There's no diplomacy going on. It's basically a license to kill that Israel has.
Paid for by us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I just go back? I have too many questions. To your description of the U.S. defense budget as 80% of discretionary spending, which I didn't know, which is like hard to believe. The United States is prosperous largely because it's isolated from threats by the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans.
Right.
Basically, the United States.
Right, but see, the way that you're breaking down the numbers is flawed. You should break down the numbers on how much more likely you are to be killed by a white person. You're trying to do some comparables, and this is not a comparable situation. If 86% of white on white crime, whites kill whites, you need to 86% of the time you need to be looking at the white folks instead of niggas. You wake up every morning thinking about niggas when you should be looking at your neighbor. Say neighbor.
The threats that it faces were going to come from Canada or Mexico, really. And those are, not existential at the moment. So why would the United States spend 80% of its discretionary budget on defense? That's crazy.
Well, it undermines, I think, the constitutional imperative of the United States. We, the people of the United States, it laid out certain purposes of governance. Provide for the common defense, but that wasn't the only thing, okay? Promote the general welfare. Ensure the blessings of liberty. We're moving away from that. If it all becomes about defense, what happens? And what is happening now, there's specific things that have happened. We've seen healthcare.
Can I just correct you and say it's not?
Because that's the way they frame the situation. It's like, oh, I'm 500% more likely to get, no, you're not 500% more likely to get unalived by a black person than a white person. You're not. If 86% of white murder is by white people, how are you 500% more likely to get unalived by a black person? No, you're not. Nigga, look at your neighbor. And now chat, everyone say neighbor.
It's not defense anymore, it's war. It's not the Department of Defense, it's the Department of War.
Department of War. Thank you. Because, I mean, that's right. Because
if it's about defense, the United States is defended by geography mostly.
Regardless if you say the rate is 500% higher, the way you're looking at the question is flawed. You still looking at the wrong people. Even if the rate is 500% higher, you're still more likely to get killed by the white man at the feed store. You're still more likely to get in a shootout at the feed store over the new Diamond dog food that came out than you are by a black man. No matter how you say it.
Defended by oceans, by its lack of physical proximity to people who hate it. So like we're pretty safe, always have been, probably the safest country in the world. But that's it. But it's not about defense, it's about war.
And because it's more about war than ever, how do you measure that? You measure that by how much money you allocate. Again, $900 billion.
You said, why can't you apes take accountability? I can take accountability for blocking your bitch ass out my stream, shooter. You wanna wait, sitting here this whole fucking time, then come out here and show your face. Listen, shooter, that's why we don't let motherfuckers like you come to the shootout, the cookout. You be faking the funk. Your ass wanna come in here, sit down, take your shoes off, eat a plate, and now you wanna call me an ape. In the end, when we was watching the little story about the boy being drowned and you was all cool, now that I get in here putting belt the ass, I'm a ape and shit. Everybody tells Shooter, have a good night. He doesn't play well with others, so I had to sit his ass down.
Dollars were allocated in 2000 for the 2026.
You said, but you plug are more likely to die by a black man. I'm sidestepping the point. No, I'm not. I understand that. What I'm saying, the whole point of this convo that we got into it is because we said don't put yourself in situations. Like putting yourself in a situation to where you're the only black guy 10 miles away from fucking mainland on a boat with some people you don't know. You don't put yourself in that situation. Going out in the woods with everybody got guns and shit and you're the only black person there. You don't put yourself in a Dick Cheney situation. That's what we're talking about. When it comes to day-to-day life, yes, I know that I'm more likely to be unalived by a black person. I'm just saying when it comes to putting myself in situations, just like I'm not going to put myself in a situation to go to a hole-in-the-wall club that's one way in, one way out with a bunch of people with guns. Not going to put myself in that situation. That's what we're talking about.
Department of Defense, now war. This year, $1.5 trillion, and it constitutes 80% of discretionary spending. So what's happened? We've seen cuts in healthcare. They've cut back administration of the Affordable Care Act. They've cut back the CDC, lost about $3.5 billion. Education has just been wrecked.
Yeah, y'all know Dick Cheney. Didn't Dick Cheney shoot that man in his back while they was hunting? Didn't Dick Cheney shoot somebody? Yeah, that was Dick Cheney, wasn't it? That shot that man while they was hunting. Yeah, I'm not trying to have no shit like that go on, man.
The kind of benefits that were out there in the education department, we saw the work-study program. I took a work-study program when I
shot him in the face.
Starting my college career. I worked as a plane dealer in Cleveland for a while and worked and went to Cleveland State. They cut this funding 90%. So all these young people who want to get educational experience and work at the same time, they're not going to be able to do that. There's programs that affect the poor that would enable young people to reach up and get an education that they've cut. Their specialized education funds, they cut out the whole divisions. There's a lot of programs that have been cut in education. They've cut job training programs, Tucker. And all this goes, by, I think it was job training is about $3.7 billion they've cut from that. They've cut nutrition program, feeding people, feeding the food stamp program, which, largely has kept a lot of Americans fed. They've cut that by about $6.3 billion. And then with that, there's reductions in the women's and infant children's nutrition.
You said the American education system is guarded. This person talking is stupid. Well, listen to this. I can't be that stupid. You a little more stupid than me because you going to come here and talk crazy to me on my live stream like I'm not going to put your ass in timeout for 30 minutes. Now, you sit back and watch this shit. Go get you some Legos and what do they call it? Shit, where you play side by side with the other kids. Yeah, just don't get involved. Go play with your Legos. We'll get you some snacks in a minute because you don't know how this shit go in here.
Programs. What are we becoming as a nation when we arm ourselves to the teeth, inevitably benefiting all these defense contractors, and leave the American people defenseless at home, defenseless against poverty, defenseless against ill health, defenseless against being ill-educated. That's the real strength of our country. We're letting that go. And so my sense is that it's bad enough that 1.5 trillion is going to go primarily to these arms manufacturers, okay? Because those are capital-intensive expenditures. And at the same time, here comes Israel, right inside the Department of Defense, at the most sensitive technological areas, most sensitive security issues, and they're right there helping to direct what America does.
At exactly the moment when the American public has made it very clear we don't want this.
Right.
You know what's really rare these days? A company that makes things in America, not just designed in America, conceived in America, assembled in America.
Man, all right.
Is cognizant of the fact that we've had a relationship that goes back at least to 1948, to 1948, and then going forward from there, and more recently, Israel saw to their advantage to encourage the United States to go to war against Iraq. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu sat in front of me in a government oversight committee and articulated reasons in September of 2002 why the United States should go to war against Iraq. And he also said, I asked him, who else would you attack? And he said, Iran and Libya.
And that's the thing with the food stamp talk. It's like y'all always talk about the black community and food stamps like, oh, y'all are overrepresented for food stamps. We're underrepresented for food stamps. Well, why the fuck is anybody on food stamps if y'all want to be like that? Is it cool for the white folks to be on food stamps or is it not? Because y'all seem to only have a problem with the black community using food stamps. It's like, damn, what about the majority of the white community that's using food stamps? Do y'all not say the same shit to them? It's a little crazy.
Committee. You can go to the internet and find that. There's a different imperative that Netanyahu has than what our aspirations are for our country. The people of Israel have to make their own decisions, but they cannot decide for us. We have to have autonomy here. We have to have sovereignty. And I fear for the future of our country. If we bring in, this genocidal group that has shown no compunction about murdering children, shooting them in the head and the chest, laughing about it, celebrating their dominance over defenseless people, it goes beyond being heartbreaking.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's nothing wrong. Like if you in a bond, that's what the benefits are there for. That's what they're there for. You're supposed to be able to feed your family in the greatest country in the world. If we have those social services, man, take advantage of it. But it's the way that they frame the conversation just as, oh, you EBT monkey or you EBT. And it's like, well, damn, bro, like shit, bro. I help at the churches sometimes passing out food and shit. Like you would be amazed at who's in those damn lines. But I don't judge people like that. Cause I understand life sometimes. Like this shit is crazy.
Insane. And we need to push back. People should be calling their congressmen and saying, do not vote for this bill. Vote, force an amendment to be made to take it out. Take that provision out of the bill, and if they won't do it, vote against the bill. I mean, I would vote against the bill anyway. I voted against almost every single expenditure for these kinds of things when I was in Congress, Tucker, because I knew it was a scam. I knew the people of the United States were getting hosed by these defense contractors, and it became a racket. It's a Smedley Butler said it years ago, war's a racket. So this is a racket. We got pulled into one war after another we didn't have to be in, and Israel was coaxing it all along. And the Middle East region is going to end up in a worse conflagration if they come inside, because they'll be leading the dance when it comes to making strategic decisions in that region. It's happening right now. They have that kind of influence, but this locks it in. This is formal. This is the law. And what happens to our country? My concerns about America, I don't,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, we just got to have it. If we're going to have that conversation, like, I just want y'all to know that's going to be my stance every time. Yeah, we can say that the black community's overrepresented in food stamps. But what about the representation that your community has? Are you going to address that? Are you going to address that? Because I know some baby mamas that's getting food stamps in the white community. I know some elderly people that's getting food stamps in the white community. I know some people out of work that's getting food stamps in the white community. Are you going to address them and give them the same energy you give into the black community when it comes to this EBT shit? No, you're not. You're not. You're not.
I consider myself a citizen of the world, but I am an American, and I don't want anybody trying to influence our country to do one thing or another. We make our own decisions here. Not anymore, though. Israel has too much influence already. And through AIPAC and other groups, they have engaged in a kind of subterfuge over what the interests of the American people are. And it's not in our interest to be merging a military with a military that presents a clear and present danger to our own country. I don't want to hold hands with somebody who has blood on their hands.
No. I think all people are capable of evil. I certainly am, and I think all of us are capable of genocide. I believe that because I know what human nature is. But there's only one country committing it right now. I mean, we don't need to guess. Is the Israeli government evil? Well, yes. I mean, obviously. Murdering children is evil, no matter who does it, period. They don't get a pass. It's a universal standard. So the idea that we would merge with that of all militaries.
What I'm trying to say is this. It's either you're for EBT or you're against it. Like all it is, who getting the EBT over here and who getting the EBT over there, and the Latino community getting the EBT and the Somalis getting the EBT and the whites and the black. It's like, fuck, bro. If you're mad at one group for getting EBT, be mad at everybody. Be mad at the old lady that you know retirement's just not cutting it, so she has to get EBT. Be mad at her too, nigga. Be mad at the single mother that got 4, 5 kids and just be mad at her too, nigga. Be mad at everybody. If you're gonna be against the shit, be against it, man. Straight up. Don't pick and choose.
Well, again, I agree with that, Tucker. And you know, I wouldn't want to merge with any military. I don't even like NATO for that matter.
Good night, Tammy.
Because I don't want anybody acting and trying to drag us into conflicts. You know, our founders warned, beware of foreign entanglements.
Yes.
We were warned about that. And they had the vision to understand that the United States needed to protect its independence, to protect its sovereignty by not getting drawn into conflicts in other countries on behalf of other nations, not on behalf of ourselves. You know, I'm for defending our country, but now where we're at is that we're on the threshold of forever wars. I don't think Donald Trump went into office with the idea that.
I don't know, Chad. I'm just one of those people that think nobody should go hungry, especially nobody here. Call it what you want. Say that I'm liberal or I'm whatever, bro. I just don't think that if we're going to call this the greatest country in the world, nobody should go hungry. I have no problem with EBT. I have no problem with food lines. Before motherfuckers go hungry here, ribs showing, it's looking like feed the children in America and shit. I think everybody should be able to damn eat.
You know, we're going to have more wars. He promised we don't, no more wars. He made that promise, but he couldn't keep that promise because of the influence of this particular group. And that's really sad. It's really sad.
I saw it firsthand. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen in public life, for sure. Who are the people pushing this?
Well, it's very interesting. There was an iteration of this bill that was introduced into Congress by 2 members. Didn't get much attention. But this was folded into the bill. Nobody knows who put it in. That's number one. Number two, no hearings on this part alone. There's been no hearings and no real discussion.
All right, yeah, there hasn't been any real hearings or discussion on this vote. But we're gonna move on. Officer Tatum covered the Tyler Robinson case, and he's saying that Tyler Robinson said something. So we'll see. Let's check in.
It's in the court of law. Before we get back to the show, I want to tell you guys about Shenergy. If you're tired of energy drinks and I got a lot of things that I want to say about this. And some of you guys probably saw the live stream earlier. We're broadcasting the entire trial on our show. But I also stepped in, during the lunch period and gave my synopsis of what I saw. But let me just tell you guys, if this is your first time watching it, man, it was a surreal experience, man. Being there with Erica and the family, it was emotional. Just my heart breaks for Erica. My heart breaks for what she has to go through when she did nothing but be a good wife, and a lunatic decided to kill her husband. Now, I'll say this off the top because I want people to be very clear about this, because court proceedings.
Hit the like button, chat.
In the United States of America, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. And so Tyler Robinson is innocent.
Thanks, Kayla.
Until he's proven guilty in the court of law. But let me tell you some things that I observed in the court that should debunk a few things that people are saying on the internet. The first thing is, some people are saying that Tyler Robinson was never on campus. Well, we have evidence now of investigators who have seen him on campus over 4 times, or around 4 times being on campus, before the shooting, during the shooting, and after the shooting. There's a few other things that caught my attention, but we'll go through them methodically here after a while. But it was a very interesting.
Thanks, Sahad.
Seeing Tyler Robinson in the courtroom, knowing that he allegedly took my friend's life is very difficult to see, and I can't imagine from the family's perspective how they're just dealing with having to look at him the entire time. I mean, any smirk, any look, any smile, anything outside of looking distressed is probably very stressful for the family. And there was a lot of questions you guys asked me earlier, and I answered them, so you got to go back and look at that. But there was a few other things. I got my notes. I don't know what I did. I put my notepad over there, but I got my notes that I had. Hold on one second. Let me get a couple notes for you, because I want to make sure I touch on a few things, because I think it's very telling. One of the things that I think is important to note is the manner of death from the autopsy. But I think it's more important right now for me to establish the difference between trial and the pretrial. I think that's something that we need to establish. The pretrial's burden of proof is just probable cause. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt like it is in a regular trial. It's not the preponderance of evidence like you see in a civil trial. It's just the burden of proof is if a reasonable person with these circumstances would believe that this person could have done the crime. That's all it is. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not that you got to prove it in this pretrial hearing. It's the prosecution presenting evidence that a reasonable person would.
So Officer Tatum believes that Tyler Robinson is the shooter. Do y'all believe Tyler Robinson took Charlie Kirk off this earth? Yes or no? Do y'all believe Tyler Robinson took Charlie Kirk off of this earth? Everyone hit the like button, chat. We got to get the likes up, man. We're nowhere near the like goal, man. We've been not hitting the like goals. We got to get the likes up.
Will believe, and in this case, the magistrate, the judge, is going to have to make that determination that is it reasonable that with all the evidence that's been presented that we could take this trial forward, or we take this forward to trial. One of the things that I thought was very interesting, besides him being discovered on campus multiple times, 4 times to be exact.
With Tyler Robinson's personal information, were you able to expand your search at all?
Yes, once we knew a vehicle that we were looking for and we had an actual image of the individual, then we were able to use that video footage to try and track that specific individual.
Okay, and I'm sorry, let me clarify. So when I said expand your search, I'm referencing the UVU surveillance video.
Yes, we were able to.
Okay. And were you able to identify in that expanded search, did you believe you located that challenger?
We did, yes.
Okay. Were you able to determine at what time or times Mr. Robinson visited the UVU campus on September 10th?
Yeah, we were able to establish that Mr. Robinson had been on campus approximately 4 times throughout the day, twice before the shooting the time of the shooting and then after the shooting later in the evening into the early hours of the 11th.
One of the things that I thought was very interesting, besides him being discovered on campus multiple times, 4 times to be exact, was the autopsy. A lot of people are lately saying that, oh, it was a microphone and all this other stuff. The defense is not even arguing that.
And would you mind relating what the doctor reports as the manner of death?
Yes, I misspoke. It does say homicide.
And then the immediate cause of death?
Gunshot wound of the neck.
Nothing further, Judge.
A lot of people are lately saying that, oh, it was a microphone and all this other stuff. The defense is not even arguing that. At least so far, they haven't argued that whatsoever. It has been shown from the prosecution that the autopsy was there. It was presented in the court, and the autopsy yielded that it was a homicide. His cause of death was a homicide, and that the manner of death was a gunshot wound to the neck. So for everybody out here still talking about all that other stuff, lying to you because they're not here. They couldn't bother to be here. They couldn't bother to cover the story, and they're gonna say all this crazy stuff. But I think the judge in this case has been incredibly fair. If you watch the live stream, the defense is objecting to almost everything that they could possibly object to, and it's the same soup warmed over. You know, in my opinion, all the defense is doing is trying to muddy the water so you can't get a clear perspective of what the prosecution is trying to lay out. Because the more that they go object, and they got to go through the rigmarole, object, then therefore the people that are watching it can't continue with the line of questioning that leads you to understanding where the prosecution is going. But the evidence is coming out slowly but surely. They're building a case. I think that it seems to be a very fair trial at this point. I got to give my hat off to the judge. I said it a few seconds ago, but I think the judge has been very fair in the way he's been treating the case. I think the prosecution is bringing up incredible points, and I think that
Chat, right now, y'all be sure to go answer the poll right now. We got 56% of the viewers do not think Tyler Robinson took out Charlie Kirk. 57% think Tyler Robinson is a patsy.
the defense is doing what they can to try to preserve Tyler Robinson, and we'll see as the trial moves forward what new evidence is brought about. The reason that I decided to do this live is because if any of you guys have questions along the way, I'd love to answer your questions, because there's so many things that went on today. It was 8 hours of hearing testimony and all of that other stuff, and I can't think of everything at once. I wrote it down, but I didn't write it succinctly enough because look at that chicken scratch. But anyway, I just want to touch base on that, talk a little bit about the trial. But
I do think that the filings that they found with that explosives plant that blew up in Tennessee, because we covered that plant that blew up. All the workers were passed away in it. They had just got that contract. When Baron Coleman and Candace brought that together, I was like, oh, shit. Like, oh, shit. And then just being around guns my whole life, when they said it was a 30-06 that hit him, I knew it wasn't a 30-06. Lodged in his neck, a 30-06, bro. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Anybody that has put that rifle in their hand knows that would, come on now. A 30-06, chill out, bro. Chill out. Y'all playing now. Y'all playing in our damn face.
It is very interesting, and I hope that you guys watch it. We'll have it live on my channel every day of the trial, and I'll try to pop in and give some updates on it. But ask your questions as we do the live stream. If you have some things that you want to ask, if you have questions about what happened here, this, that, and this and other. I know people brought up the holster thing. They haven't even addressed the holster thing yet, which is something that I heard for the first time. Was there was a holster found, like with a handgun. It was a handgun holster that was disregarded. Nobody around.
I'm just going to be honest with you. They talking about a handgun holster was disregarded. XX, I don't give a damn what Tyler's dad said he recognized or nothing. That was not a 30-06 that went through that man's neck. That was not a 30-06. Have you seen the video? Candace just posted a video on X today of some people shooting a damn cow neck, a cow with a 30-06. Y'all should go see what happened to that cow, bro. It's no way. It's just no way, bro.
I don't know if they collected it for evidence. There's no evidence that would lead to believe that somebody used a handgun in this situation. So that was one thing that was brought up in the court that I'm waiting to hear back from, or at least hear the defense pose an argument about, and maybe the prosecution can explain. One thing that happened today in the trial that I think people who are naysayers are going to put out.
Listen, chat, the way that shit went through Charlie Kirk's neck, it was like a damn 22 or a 5.7. The way that shit went through his neck was actually like a 5.7. It's no way that shit was a 30-6, bro. Like, just looking at it, like the way he went, like, I think it was the little recording device, but even if it was a bullet, it's no way that shit was a 30-6. A 5.7. Even if you would have said a 5.7, I would have been like, maybe. But a 30-6, no fucking way. No way.
Out there is that the video footage of Tyler Robinson, allegedly Tyler Robinson, on campus in various areas, all the evidence and proof that they had of him being there, they made it into a compilation video, and there was some markers on the video that had like a circle or like a red dot, you know, kind of indicating where he's at on the camera, zooming in so you could see it better. The judge ruled that it wasn't admissible without certain fact patterns to enter it into evidence. But tomorrow they're going to have an opportunity to put it in, and I think it's going to be very easily put into evidence once they do what the judge asked them to do, is doing it appropriately and putting it in without any question marks of the legitimacy of the actual video that was compiled.
You talking about, sorry, host, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. And you might need to go play with a few more guns or something, bro. It's no way there was a 30-6. Like I said, bro, it was like a 5.7. Listen, Chad. It's like a 5.7. That shit, bro, no.
So I think that was something that came up, and if you're a naysayer, I would say that the naysayers are going to say, look, see, they didn't have the evidence. No, they're going to be able to put that in the evidence. I don't think it's going to be a problem whatsoever. Any question on the trial? Let's see. I think we got a couple more questions. Real quick, I'm going to answer them. I got my phone here. What was the feeling in the courtroom? For me, it was surreal. It was a surreal feeling, man. You're like, dang, it's crazy because you're thinking to yourself, dang, I never thought I'll see the day that I'm in a courtroom regarding a trial, and this is a pre-trial, because
here go David Murphy talking about how you gonna say they're wrong. Who are you? You are nobody. David, you in my chat watching me. You listen, chill out, David. Because right now, you in my shit watching me. Who the fuck are you?
Somebody I know in the movement got murdered, assassinated. You get what I'm saying? I never in my life thought I'll be at Charlie Kirk's pretrial because he was murdered by somebody. And then you're there, and then I can't stop thinking about Erica.
Look, Steelhand Omar. Everybody wave good night to Steelhand Omar. After I get done talking, he'll no longer be in the fucking chat. He will not be back. He does not play well with others. He just bitches and complains. I told him to take his shoes off. I'm pretty sure he would like one of those grilled hot dogs or something, because all he do is fucking eat meat all night, man. So let's go on and get Omar up out of here, man. Everybody tell him good night.
I'm going to say that till I'm blue in the face, because I was with her in the trial. I was with her in the green room and in the family. And my heart breaks for her, because what does she do to deserve this, man? She gets married to a guy who's an incredible guy. She's an incredible woman. They're an incredible couple together. And then all of a sudden, a lunatic decides to kill him because they don't like what he had to say. And while other people are spending their weekends or week going to work, they're going to go home to see their family. They probably on vacation.
That's what I'm saying, XX. You say you own a 30-6 is really the exit wound that's large. It wasn't no large exit wound. That's the thing. That shit should have been blew the fuck out. It wasn't. Shit hit went through like a 5.7 damn near, like in and out, bro. Like that shit should have been like the backside of his head should have been gone, bro. All of this shit should have been gone, bro.
They're going to do all that. Erica has to endure facing the person who killed her husband and sitting through the trial. This is pre-trial. Then she got to sit through the actual trial. where they show evidence and talk about how Charlie was murdered. Anyway, I get worked up when I talk about it. That was the feeling in the courtroom. That's how I felt. It was like surreal, man, being in there and listening to what happened to Charlie. But it was also gratifying that finally evidence is being presented, so you nut jobs will shut up and quit lying.
Talking about the doctor said he had super dense bones. Listen, man. Y'all go try it. And let me know how it happens, man. Y'all go try it, man. I'm not taking my chances with no fucking 30-6, bro. Chill out.
The people for clicks, and finally people can get real evidence that I've been telling y'all was true from the very beginning. But at least you can get evidence from an impartial source. When I say impartial source, it's in the court of law. You can watch it for yourself and see what the prosecution is presenting and see how the defense objects it. Was Tyler Robinson's parents there? I couldn't tell. It appears that Tyler Robinson's family was on the very back row, but of course I didn't really see who was who. It didn't look like
Ender comes through with the super chat saying, listen to the plug, he'll hook you up. Appreciate that, Ender, man. I hope you're having a great week, man. A great start to your week, man. Thank you for always showing up and supporting the channel.
His mom was there, or I don't know what his dad looked like. So it was a couple men there that could have been his dad. But it looked like his family was there. They said at the very back, which I think is...
I think it was the mic that exploded. And I think the mic that exploded had something to do with that factory in Tennessee that blew up immediately afterwards. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think it was... He got shot. I don't think it was a 30-6. I don't think it was a 300 blackout. I don't think it was a handgun. I think it was that damn microphone, and I think they burnt down that facility in Tennessee to cover all the tracks. That's just my opinion.
Is the customary way that they seat the families in this court. So it's not like they did it for any other reason, but I think the way they coordinated the court was that the family had to sit in the back. Why homicide, not murder? I think that's a good question. I think the difference is that this is how it's determined. If a homicide means that you were just killed by another person. A murder means that it was a targeted killing by a person, right? When somebody's, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody is doing an autopsy and they don't have a suspect, they can't argue that this was an intentional killing. They can only argue that this person was killed.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. A 30-6 will fuck around and go through your thigh bone, your femur, man. I'm sitting here trying to think of a bone there to stop a 30-6. Bro, this shit is crazy, bro. Man, that shit will go straight, break your fucking leg in half, bro. What are we talking about here?
Killed by another person, right? So let me just give you an example. Like, so if you are walking down the street, somebody do a drive-by shooting, and it wasn't intended to hit you, and you get killed, right? I think that in the preliminary stages, they would consider that to be a homicide. Means that the fact pattern that they have currently is that you were killed by another person, right? A murder is that they have somebody that they can point to and say, this person killed this person intentionally. And I think that's where to draw the difference between a homicide and murder. I could be wrong on some points. I think I'm pretty accurate. Am I accurate? I'm not accurate. Give me the accuracy.
Manslaughter would be more of an accidental. Homicide is murder. Essentially, it's the same idea.
No, I'm talking about in a context. No, I'm talking about in the context of an autopsy, because the argument came up in court that the autopsy, she said a murder, or at least what they said was murder. The cause of death was murder, gunshot wound to the neck, and the correction was it's a homicide, gunshot wound to the neck. And I think that in that context,
y'all think they JFK Charlie Kirk, man? Y'all think they MLK Charlie Kirk, man? Man, y'all think they took him out like that for real?
the difference between homicide and murder is whether you have a motive and intent to go along with how the person got murdered. If you don't have a suspect or anything, you don't even know where the shot came from or anything, they have to generically say that it was a homicide because you were killed, but they don't know how, they don't know why, they don't have the circumstances technically when they do the autopsy. So I think I'm kind of right. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see if there's any other questions. But yeah, what you were talking about, Brad, was more of whether or not it's first degree murder, second degree murder in the sense of the way somebody's charged. And I can go through that with you guys too. You know, the first degree murder is premeditated murder. Second degree murder is when somebody intentionally kill you. And manslaughter is typically when you do something negligent that result in the death of another person unintentionally. And in different states, they have different things, right? You know, if you unintentionally murder somebody, but your actions was gross and negligent and without due regard for human life, you could be charged with murder or second degree murder in certain states. In the state of Arizona, there's different levels to it. You know, first degree murder is obviously always premeditation. Second degree murder is you have to intentionally murder somebody. There's no gross negligence that leads to second degree murder. They just consider that manslaughter in Arizona. But it's different in different states, but generically speaking, and premeditation can be gained in an instance. Like if I was...
All right, Chad, we finna get them up out of here, man. I'm finna take y'all to the deepest pits of filth. I'm finna take y'all to the deepest pits of filth down here with these
Most of our livestock was
in the country. I'm assuming they're in the country, man. It's these people that had all them babies. 16 kids. Oh, it was in Ohio. 16 kids were rescued. Some of them were feral. They said some of the kids couldn't talk, didn't know how to read or write. None of that shit, man. Shit is crazy.
kept in better conditions than the children.
16 children hidden away in a rural Ohio home. A teenager who, according to investigators, couldn't even spell her own name. And a smell so bad, the Attorney General says he still can't shake it.
It was just a disgusting scene.
And now the adults who were supposed to be caring for these children are behind bars.
Look at those productive members of society, man. Look at those productive members of society.
This is pure evil, what we saw down here.
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. You know, just when you think that you've heard it all, another case comes to light that makes you do a double take. And this story out of Ohio, it's one of those cases. It involves 16 children who were living in conditions that were so filthy and so deplorable, according to the sheriff, that most animals live better. In fact, the children had been living in the small home for some time, and the sheriff said neighbors had no idea that children lived there. Imagine that. A home with 16 children living in it, and the neighbors had no clue. The county prosecutor says one of the kids is actually 18, an adult, but developmentally, she's a child.
Yes, they said the 18-year-old cannot read, cannot write, pretty much can't do anything. These kids were feral. They were growling and barking and shit. Like, straight up. Sad situation, man. They were kept in, the floors were falling in. It's just so bad, bro. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that.
She couldn't even spell her own name. And some of the children were in such bad shape that they had to be flown by medical helicopter to a level 1 trauma center. Unbelievable. That's what deputies in Vinton County, Ohio, about 75 miles south of...
Like, when I hear this shit, like, I think of Dunny off the Wild Thornberries. I think of like how Dunny was on the Wild Thornberries.
Of Columbus found this week. Vinton is a rural county. Fewer than 13,000 people live there. Vinton County Sheriff said that deputies and state agents discovered the children on Tuesday, June 30th, while conducting another investigation. Here's Sheriff Ryan Kane.
All right, today on June 30th, the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, along with the Ohio Bureau of Investigation, executed and is still continuing to investigate Omar Street in Hamden, Ohio. Upon searching the home, evidence of other crimes were discovered. It's currently an ongoing investigation, and my office is still processing the scene and conducting interviews. My message to the community is that there is no outstanding threat. These are serious crimes and allegations that will be investigated fully. Our mission.
They finna get life, chat. I'm just gonna let y'all know this shit right now, man. Ain't none of them finna come home, bro. They're finna get life probably in the feds, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with you, man. Their ass about to get a L.
Is to protect our citizens and our children. The scene is horrific, and these are horrific allegations. We will do anything in our power to hold those accountable to justice. I want to thank Ohio BCI, the Ohio Attorney General's Office, for working with us in this incident, the Hamden Fire Department, Benton County EMS, Jackson County EMS, Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the Ohio Department of Watercraft and Parks, Ohio Wildlife, for assisting us today.
So the children were discovered because a search warrant was being executed on the home on Omer Street related to another investigation, but the sheriff won't comment on what that investigation involves.
I want to stress that our focus right now is on the safety of the children.
I bet it was some weird shit. I bet it was some child porn. They talking about the sheriff won't talk about what that investigation was for. It was either they were selling drugs, which I could be, or it was some child porn. They were probably coming over there for some child porn and found a bunch of kids in that motherfucker. Probably something to do with child porn, and they found a bunch of kids in that motherfucker.
Children. These kids are being evaluated medically, and we're trying to get them placed, and that is our primary concern right at this point. I also want to stress this is not conduct that is acceptable in Vinton County. These individuals were not from Vinton County. This is not appropriate and certainly is not reflective of the Vinton County values.
The children were removed from the small house in the village of Hamden. They ranged in age from 1.5 to 18 years old. Ohio's Attorney General says some of the children were in really, really bad shape. Here's AG Andy Wilson.
Agents from Ohio BCI participated in the search warrant this morning with deputies from the Vinton County Sheriff's Office. And when they went into that residence, 16 children were removed from that residence. And I've been doing these types of cases for a long time.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. Those kids are from the trenches for real. That's the trenches. 16. I grew up with 16 siblings under the same roof. Couldn't even read or write. Didn't know our names. Little brother was barking and shit. Man, that's the trenches, bro. The trenches.
I spent a big portion of my career dedicated to prosecuting these types of cases, and I can tell you this is pure evil. What we saw down here today is pure evil, and I have to commend the deputies from the Vinton County Sheriff's Office and our agents from Ohio BCI and I, who went into really kind of one of the worst environments that I've seen in my career, and were there.
We covered that street justice
in their time of need. Those children are currently being treated at hospitals throughout the state. And
I don't think they was state kids. Y'all think they was foster kids? I don't think they was state kids. I think they was these people kids.
And this is, as you heard, an ongoing investigation.
I'll get into more of what law enforcement says they found in the house shortly. 4 adults lived in that house, the parents of the children and the grandparents. The parents of some of the children are believed to be Elizabeth Siders and Gary Siders Jr. The grandparents are believed to be Gary Siders Sr. and Christina.
They trying to say that Elizabeth was a victim because she had a bruise around her arm. When in her booking photo, she has a bruise around her arm right there. So they're trying to run with the narrative of this girl right here being a victim. Like she was a victim to the man right there beside her.
Siders, all 4.
But they all lived, all of the Siders are together. So I'm assuming that these 2 older people, this man right here that looks like he's from the hills have eyes, and this lady right here that looks like, yeah, her, are the girl's parents. Because they all share the same last name. Gary Slaughter shares the same last name too. So obviously I had it backwards. They're his parents, and she's there. There's his family and she's there. I had it backwards. So that's why they're saying she's a victim, because this is his parents, he's the man, and she was just, I guess, married into the family.
Face 17 felony counts of child endangering, and more charges could be coming because this is.
That's all they got was child endangerment. Oh shit, they might come home. If that's all they charged with, well, 17 counts is a lot, bro. 17 counts is a lot.
It's just the beginning. The investigation is continuing. The sheriff says the house was beyond filthy.
I've seen livestock live. Yeah. Mostly kept better. As I was saying, most of our livestock was kept in better conditions than the children. It was extremely high presence, I'm sure, of bacterial and human feces. It was just a disgusting scene.
Can I ask both of you, what did you feel like walking through there? Not necessarily.
Chat, hit the like button for me. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal, 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. He said they lived like livestock. He said he's seen livestock live better than these 16 kids, man. Livestock has lived better. It's crazy.
What it looked like on the description, but what was going through your mind?
So it was disgusting even where the kids weren't. I would think it's typical. Most law enforcement have experience with homes in a similar fashion. A large number of people, though, the children were kept in a roughly 12 by 12 area. It seems like it's where they've spent the most of the last 4 years. And that's
12 by 12. They in that bitch 16 deep in a 12 by 12. 16 deep in a 12 by 12. Man, it ain't no fucking way, bro.
In a weird way, you're hit with most two emotions. There is joy when we realize.
Everybody had to stand up. It ain't no laying down in there, man. 16 people in a 12 by 12. Man, it ain't no laying down in that bitch.
That we're about to change 16 lives for the better. But you're also, it's hard.
So the kids, the sheriff says, were kept in a 12 by 12 room, and there was feces all over the place. The children were kept in absolute squalor. The attorney general says the children were essentially hidden.
It wasn't even a bucket in there. You said it was probably a bucket. They said it was shit all over the floor. It wasn't even a bucket in there.
I will tell you this, there isn't much evidence that kids live there. We talked to some of the neighbors.
Hey, man, y'all worried about the hood. Y'all need to go check on rural America, man. We worried about the hood and shit. Y'all need to go check on rural America.
Some people from the neighborhood. These people have been here for about 4 years, and you would talk to some people who live in the neighborhood who said, I had no idea that kids were people. And talking about, somebody asked about, to describe the conditions, adding on to what the sheriff said. I didn't actually go into the room where the kids were. I just looked through the door. That was yesterday. I can still smell. I can't get the smell. I cannot get the smell off of me or away from me right now. We were just talking about that a little while ago. And then we were talking as a group about some of the evidence we looked at today where they actually discovered the kids and found the kids. And it's not that different than those old commercials you used to see of like kids in Africa, like just where they're covered in bugs and squatting and had that like distant look in their eyes. It's terrible. I mean,
they say the town knew. I bet the town did know. They said the town had how many people? 3,000, 13,000? Yeah, they fucking knew. Everybody know everybody business, man. They fucking knew. And they were complicit. They turned the blind eye to that shit, man. Hills have eyes. Yeah, the hills have eyes, man. Y'all need to go check on rural America, man.
It is absolutely terrible. And again, we got to make sure the kids are safe. We We got to make sure they're placed in good, solid therapeutic placements, and we have to hold accountable the people who are willing to do this to their own family.
The 4 Siders family members appeared in Vinton County Court on those 17 child endangering charges. The AG says the family has moved around a lot. They've been in Gallia, Jackson, and Pike counties, and even Wisconsin at one point, but they've been in Vinton County for at least the last 4 years. Back in 2021, the Pike County Sheriff posted on Facebook about Gary Siders Jr. The sheriff said he was requesting warrants for Siders Jr. for felony theft and receiving stolen property because items stolen from a construction site had been recovered from the home where he lived.
Okay, so that's what it is. That's what the investigation was for. Now we see it's shit he had stolen from a construction site, so it wasn't a child corn. He stole some shit from a construction site, and that's why they were investigating.
But the children haven't been to school. Law enforcement says there are no medical or school records for them, and they're still looking into all of that. So I could think of no one better to take a look at this case and analyze it for us than Mark Weaver. He works as a special prosecutor in the state of Ohio, sometimes sits as a judge, and he has worked cases down in the area where this happened. He's also the author of a new book entitled God Bless America, 250 Years Strong. Children and their eyes, you know, they're staring kind of into the camera and the flies are flying around.
Oh, they showed the kids.
They walk in, there's a 12 by 12 room and there's feces. And I mean, it sounds, just beyond disgusting what they described. But they were doing a search.
And you talking about the kids probably never left the house. They probably never left the room. Man, when them kids got to come out the room, chat, it was probably like like a damn spectacle, bro. That 1-year-old baby probably never came out the room, man. It ain't never seen the living room. Ain't never seen the hallway. The 18-year-old probably seen the hallway like 4, 5, 6 times a year just because she the old one.
Warrant on another investigation. They were investigating another crime, and they won't say what it was. And they go in and they find a 12 by 12 room, they say, with kids, and one of them they say is near death.
Right, they had to be born in the house. The state don't got no records of these kids being born or nothing if they wasn't in school. Man, listen, they had to be born all at home births.
Yes, I was talking to...
And then I think she had 2 sets of twins. I think she might have had 2 or 3 sets of twins. The Elizabeth girl. I think she had 2 sets of twins that were living and then like a set of twins that passed away in 2022. I believe I read that. So I think she had like, in total, she would have had 3 sets of twins, but she had 2 surviving sets of twins.
Attorney General Wilson last week on another matter. I had no idea this would come up, but I'm glad he's there. Andy Wilson is an experienced prosecutor, and he's been appointed as
it's a cover-up.
in the interim because the one who was elected resigned to take another job. So he's our short-term Attorney General, but he really is well-suited to handle this case, and I'm glad that he showed it such a high priority. We do need to know more facts. I expect the defense lawyers for these people who've been charged will ask for...
It could be a cover-up for like a one of those rings, chat. It could be a cover-up for one of those rings. Or maybe it was the 18-year-old was having some babies too. I don't know. Maybe all them kids aren't Elizabeth's. I don't know.
For a bill of particulars, which is a more detailed description of the crimes being alleged.
A cover-up for a ring.
They're rather...
A cover-up for a ring, one of those X rings. And then you said, why would they cover up that the baby's not all Elizabeth's? Because if the 18-year-old had babies, depending on how old the 18-year-old is, that's going to be not only incest, that's going to be grape too. That's going to be statutory and incest.
Pro forma, meaning they're simply saying the required element.
It does matter in the form of what charges are going to be brought, Ms. Bones, because right now they're only charged with 17 counts of child endangerment. Now, if we find out that it was some incest going on, that's going to be another charge. And if we find out that some of those babies are the 18 or the 15, 16-year-olds, however old the other one was, then that's going to be some incest charges and grape charges.
of the statute, child endangerment, which is a second-degree felony in this case. So we're not getting a lot of insight from the records that have been released so far.
Yeah, we're getting nothing. We're getting nothing except it's literally like the bare bones complaint that they gave us. We have no like info other than what they've told us. And I think part of that is because they were caught by surprise when they went in there. They're looking for X, and they find A through L or whatever.
Yeah.
They find 16 kids when they go in there, and they're looking for whatever else they were looking for in the first place. And they find feces, a floor falling apart, 16 kids, one or two of them in really bad shape. Now they have to find homes for these 16 kids. And the big question is, Mark, who's the mother of some of these children? The 18-year-old, they said couldn't even.
All right, chat, I'm going to ask y'all a real question, man, and I want the honest answer, man. I don't want y'all to lie. Would y'all take in one of these 16 children? Everybody knows it's a sad story, but I want to know from y'all, would y'all take in one of these 16 children?
Even spell her name, hadn't been to school, and they said that this 18-year-old, this is so sad, it's so stunning to me. I'm highly doubting that Elizabeth Siders is the mother of this 18-year-old, since she's, I think, 33, and there's no way she had 16 children in that time span. We were just talking about that before we came on here. So where did this child come from? And they're calling her a child. They're charging child endangering because they said basically she can't even spell her name. So basically she's 18, but she developmentally is a child.
Sure, and certainly she was endangered or abused at age 14, 15, 16, 17, all of which would be within the statute of limitations for a crime like this. Prosecutors are going to have to talk to these kids. It's unclear which ones can give a coherent account of who did what or who didn't provide food or the basic sustenance that every parent or guardian is required to.
Yeah, I probably couldn't take the kid in either, man. I could, be like a sponsor or something, send a little Christmas gift, birthday gift or something. But yeah, nah, man, I couldn't take that on.
To provide a child. So a couple things are going to happen during this investigation. Are probably happening right now. Number one, every one of these kids, once their medical needs are attended to, is going to be interviewed to get as much information as they can about this level of abuse or neglect. And then once the prosecutors identify the least culpable, the least responsible adult who's charged, they will work to flip that person to testify against the other ones. So the person with the least culpability will get the shortest amount of prison time, and they will use that testimony to convict the other people.
And we don't know who that is at this point in time.
No,
but what
there's no way of knowing, and the kids are going to be the key to this. But once again, we don't have insight into how verbal they are, or how aware they are. Severe malnutrition affects not just your body, but also your brain and your memory. And so I'm sure.
Ain't no telling what they was feeding them, bro. It ain't no telling what they was feeding them kids, bro. Them kids was probably eating some worse slop. They was probably eating slop like some damn hogs, man.
Defense lawyers will be interested in eventually cross-examining these kids to show that perhaps they don't remember things well. So it's a bit of a challenge with respect to who the witnesses will be to say what did or didn't happen. Having said that, there's a civil Latin phrase in the law called res ipsa loquitur. This thing speaks for itself. You don't need a lot of evidence to show that kids in your care who are...
What they doing with the water and vegetable oil? You said they would come in right before it closed and get water and vegetable oil. The fuck was they doing with the water, with the vegetable oil? Cooking? Of course, I think that. What was they cooking?
Poorly treated or whose conditions are so bad is the responsibility of the adults in the house.
That's what I said, kiddo. They like Donnie off the Wild Thornberries. They like Donnie.
What I want to break down here a little bit, and this is just me from, a high up looking down kind of view, but there's a report out there that Elizabeth Siders, the wife of Gary Jr., that that she used to go to this baby pantry, you know, where if you are a person in need and can't afford stuff, you go there and you can get diapers and formula and stuff like that. And that she would come in and she was kind of like, she would come in once a week. You were allowed to come in once a week, but that she would sometimes try to come more than once a week. And that Gary Jr., this is what the report says, that he would wait out in the car or the truck or whatever, and she'd come in and she seemed kind of anxious and stuff like that. And she'd come in and get what she needed and then she'd leave. So Elizabeth is the newest member of this family, the Siders family. The grandparents, Christina and Gary.
Bro, this just looks like some hills have eyes shit, bro. Like, look at these upstanding citizens, man. Like, this shit is crazy, bro. Like, even the grandpa and the mom are like, this shit is like off of a damn movie, bro. Like, if you hear a story about some shit like this going on, you automatically picture the grandpa in the head. Like, this is the kind of people that you're around, bro. They probably got a GMC in the yard with one tire on that bitch. It's been jacked up for like 2 years. You know, like 6 or 7 dogs running around that bitch like a little pack. It's just crazy, bro.
Gary Sr., they are obviously the matriarch and patriarch of this family. Gary Jr. is their child. So they've been together the longest. And then somehow at some point, Elizabeth is brought into the fray. And so I think we're left to deduce that these children are somehow like a part of the initial threesome of Gary Sr., Gary Jr., and Christina, the older children. And we have Elizabeth coming into this. And then there's another report talking about.
You said true Trump supporters, man. I think they was all meth heads in that house, man. I think there was a house full of meth heads. If y'all want the honest truth, bro, I think there was a house full of meth heads, bro.
How Elizabeth's mother has been posting on Facebook, like, I can't wait to see my daughter again. Happy birthday. Like, I hope to see her again soon and stuff like that. And there's a picture of her that we need to verify, but she had blonde hair. Now she's got this dark black hair. So is it possible that she
What up, Mike?
is somewhat of a victim in all of this too?
Could be. Could be. I want to give viewers a context.
At what point is she not a victim, though? See how they trying to frame it like, oh, he used to wait in the car for her. She was in the food pantry line looking damn scared and shit. She's been around for 4 years, man. All these damn kids in this house living like fucking dogs and damn hogs and shit, man. At what point is she accountable? At what point is she accountable, bro?
Around this region, it's a poor area, but there is plenty of social safety net for families to eat and take care of their children. There are welfare benefits, there are SNAP, there are local churches that have food pantries. There are a lot of good Christian and hardworking people in those counties who will help other people in need. So this is not like we saw in the 1960s when President LBJ started his war against poverty in Appalachia because there were simply no resources. There are resources there. Having said that, there's also an opioid scourge that continues. There's a methamphetamine scourge.
Now you say some shit like they're Democrats like you, bro. I'm not a Democrat, and I'm going to tell you like this. No, I'm not even going to get into that, bro. Yes, I am. I lied. I am going to get into it. Now, you want to make this shit a Democrat thing. It's not a Democrat. It's a community thing. America fosters this shit. You come in here typing in all caps, Democrat, like you. No, nigga. No. Chill out, bro. Chill out, bro, because you know while you going out there fishing on them damn boats that one of those people on that boat is a fucking toucher. You know when you're dropping family and shit off at the softball field, you know them coaches is a little too freaky, but you still drop the kids off. Like, let's be honest. Your drinking buddies are touchers, and you know it. You know they a little weird. You know they a little weird, and they're not Democrats. Just be honest. You know that shit goes both sides. You got some weird ass conservative partners that like to, look at them a little young.
It continues. So many of the cases I've prosecuted or worked on in Appalachia touch against drug addiction and generational drug addiction. I would not be surprised if we learn that some of the parents of these children are no longer.
Nah, fuck that, bro, because I got to keep it real. I'm not stalling shit out tonight. I got to keep it real because we can talk about the Democrats and the leftists and how they get the, putting on dresses and touching kids and shit sometimes. But we got to call out the conservatives too. Just because you got a Bass Pro Shop hat on, man, and some nice fishing glasses, we know your ass is freaky as hell too. We know how it is. We see you in them grocery stores. We see you in them Dollar Generals. We see how your ass act, man. Your ass freaky as hell, man. And you don't hide it. I'm telling you, Chad, the coaches and all, man. Think them coaches ain't trying to knock off them high schoolers if you want to, man. Some of them coaches be in that bitch getting it on. It just so happens that the media right now is pushing the teachers, the women teachers that's doing with the children. Say it like it is. They in school, they kids. But we know the coaches out there freaking and balling too. And a lot of them coaches is conservative. Just call it like it is, man. That shit happens on both sides. Fuck that.
Parenting or on the scene because of drug addiction.
And that's something interesting that you bring up too. I noticed some redness around the eyes and the mug shots and stuff like that. I wonder if we will learn that drug abuse, addiction is a part of this story, that we're just talking here. We don't know that for certain, but it could be a piece of this puzzle. And you're right. There are programs out there. These people could have easily registered for welfare benefits, SNAP benefits. All of those things could have been done to get nourishment, good food for these children.
No, I had to break it down like that because that's going to make y'all take some accountability. Because a lot of y'all in here come in here and hee ha ha and just swiping through the chat, but you drink beers with touchers and shit. You go over and invite them over to watch the football game and football season, and you know this motherfucker's a weirdo. You know you wouldn't leave your daughter around this motherfucker, man. We got to take some accountability because it's easy to point the finger, but when that shit hit a little too close to home, you don't want to talk about it. You want to change the subject because you like his new bass boat. He just got a new bass boat last year, and y'all supposed to go fishing and shit, but you know he's a weirdo. You know he's a fucking weirdo.
So that they could be fed and housed more properly. 16 kids, you've got some explaining to do, though. If you've got 16 kids, you got some explaining to do to the government about why you got 16 kids. So one thing I find interesting about this too, Mark, so sad, but interesting.
Now you talking about I'm lost and Todd, your ass, you already know what time it is, Todd. Chill out. No, I'm telling the fucking truth. I'm telling the truth. And if you can't realize that I'm telling the truth, maybe your eyes are blind or maybe you just don't want to face the fucking facts. This shit is going on, and it's not just isolated. This shit is going on. Motherfuckers will befriend a toucher. Motherfuckers will befriend a motherfucker that likes them young just for the perks and the benefits. Drink beers with them, go out with them, go to the casino, go fishing, go hunting and shit. And you know this motherfucker's a weirdo. But to come in my YouTube chat and get to throwing this shit around. Nah, you was just hanging out with him. Tell him that.
Is the fact that, you're keeping these kids apparently indoors. Indoors, I guess, for 4 years. This is it's not like a subdivision where you've got kids running around on bikes and stuff like that. It's by a railroad track and, there's some brush and stuff like that. But there are neighbors. But the neighbors didn't see the kids. Like, I don't even understand how that's possible. Like, as you said, the kids are going to be the key.
Yeah, keeping children indoors in itself for long periods of time is neglect and endangerment, because we all know children need fresh air, they need vitamin D, they also need to go to school.
Yes.
Whether it's the public school or the local Christian or charter school, or even homeschooled by an appropriate parent or adult who's willing to take on that responsibility. But every adult in that house, once they've allowed children in, has now a legal obligation to look out for the interest of that child. The law is not that only parents are responsible.
It started as a
We got
gruesome discovery.
two
on
more
the water.
stories to
A
cover.
human body.
Everyone hit the like button. We got 2 more stories to cover before we get up out of here. I might open up the phone lines tonight, man. We had a pretty good night. You know, if y'all want me to open the phone lines, you know, show me some love. Double tap the screen, share the live out, send your questions in via super chat, grab some memberships. We'll open the phone lines. But listen, we covered this story on yesterday about the mom and boyfriend who allegedly unalived and cut up the son. And his arm was found floating in the lake, and they identified him with the tattoo. We're going to cover that story, and then we're going to cover a mom whose daughter was allegedly unalive for weeks before she called the police. I believe that's a black lady. Yeah, it looked like that's a black girl. Missing girl unalive weeks before mom called 911. So we got this story, then we got that story.
Body part floating in a lake marked by distinctive tattoos. Then, this case took an even more gruesome twist, and now 2 family members
Deborah.
of a victim are in custody. There are a lot of questions about what allegedly happened inside a home hours away from where a floating arm was discovered. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Picture.
As a mom, it's crazy to get picked up for the unaliving and dismemberment of your son. As a mom, what are the chances that you get picked up for the alleged unaliving and dismemberment of your grown son? This shit is crazy.
This, and it's summertime, right? Everybody's trying to enjoy themselves outside, and if you have a boat, a great time to be out on the water. And so,
yeah, Alan, you're gonna have to go back and watch the playback on this live. We covered that earlier in the show. The Noah Wells in Mississippi, we covered that earlier in the show.
so many parts of the country. So imagine you're out on the water with your family, trying to have a carefree day, when you notice
What's up,
something
Lala?
floating nearby. So in this situation, a dad hands his daughter an oar and says, hey, as we get closer, it looks like there's a dead fish off in the distance. Can you just push it away from our boat? So as you're holding this oar, you get closer and you realize what is floating right in front of you is not a dead fish. And the reality is far scarier than that. That is a story that a woman says happened to her when she was out with her family on their boat on June 28th. And this is a picture, per the Illinois State Police, of what that woman saw. A tattoo of a Green Bay Packers helmet with a skull. And when she reportedly saw this, she knew what she was looking at was not a dead fish. And what she was looking at once belonged to a human. We just learned some shocking new information in this story about what allegedly happened to the victim, but also what 2 people now facing charges in connection to this case.
Yeah, chat, I don't do too much kayaking and shit. I ain't one of those kayakers or no shit like that. But if I'm out on the bass boat or a little flat bottom or something and I see an arm floating, yeah. I'm finna get up out of there, man. I'm gonna have to call the laws, man. Tell them like, hey, look, bro, I'm really gonna be, what if they try to pin it on me, man? I'm gonna call the laws, but I'm gonna let them know, like, hey, look, man, get your ass out here, man. Get your ass out here, man. They'll fuck around and try to pin it on me, Chad.
Case, what they have told investigators and what they had to say is nothing allegedly short of disturbing. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But before we do, let's get up to speed on where this.
You said, bro, afraid of water, man. I don't play with no fucking water, chat. Like, I ain't getting in too much damn water, bro. Like, now, if I'm fishing, I'm fishing. But other than the shower, maybe a pool or something, a little bit here and there, man, I'm not getting in that lake water, bro. Like, I'm not one of them niggas, bro. Like, I'm not finna get in that lake water, man. Unless I got my boots on, man. Tennis shoes or something. Like, just swimming in the lake and shit. Nah, I'm cool, bro.
Case began. This is where the discovery was made on June 28th. Lake Mattoon. It's in central Illinois. We're talking roughly a 3-hour drive south of Chicago. And what she was looking at in the water specifically, according to police, was a human arm. And once she got to shore, she called 911 and the search for answers began. Police in Illinois say they were trying to figure out.
You said bass fishermen or walleye, man. I'm looking for them catfish and them brim, man. I'm out there looking for them catfish and them brim.
What else might be in the water, where the arm came from, and who the arm belonged to. And it took police a couple of days to figure that out. So they released a picture of the tattoos to the public in hopes, because they are pretty unique, that someone would know who they belonged to. And days later, they identified the victim as a 38-year-old man named Dale Wayne Turner. And he lives hours away from this lake in
What's up,
Plainfield,
Dan?
Illinois. Here's a picture of Dale Wayne that we found online on his Facebook profile picture with his wife, Rob.
Yeah, where I'm at, chat, it's some really good catfishing and it's some really good brims. My partner's been tearing them up. They've been stocking a lot of the lakes out here like every week. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know. They open up the budget or what, bro, but they've been stocking the fuck out of the lakes out here, bro.
Robin. Now, what we know about Turner, not only was he married to Robin, he was a huge fan of the Chicago Bears. And his family writes on a GoFundMe page that they have launched to try and raise money for funeral expenses that, quote, his sense of humor and kindness made him a beloved friend to many, and he always went out of his way to help others. Police say those tattoos, they're obviously pretty unique. They helped identify Turner and allow police to quickly begin an investigation to try and figure out what happened and how his arm ended up in Lake Mattoon. Turner lived in this home in Plainfield, Illinois, right near Joliet, and there are images online of police investigating here shortly after it was announced that Dale Wayne Turner's arm was found in the water of Lake Mattoon. Now, Dale Wayne's arm was found on June 28th. That date is really important. It was a Sunday. Police announced him as the victim in this case on Wednesday, a couple days later on July 1st. But this is really interesting. Look at his Facebook page. It appears he updated his profile picture on June 30th, 2 days after his arm was found in the lake. Now, it's
they in trouble.
who could have been the person who had access to his
Oh,
Facebook
they in
page
trouble.
and could update his profile picture twice after the.
They in trouble, man. They in trouble. If this man's dismembered and he's posting fucking selfies on Facebook, oh, they in trouble. Oh, they in trouble, bro. Oh, my God. And then they put him in the lake, chat. They better hope they wasn't at a national park. They found that body at a national park. They ass finna get life in the feds. Holy. If they found that body in the national park, they finna get life in the feds, bro. It's so weird.
Date that police say Dale Wayne's arm was found in Lake Mattoon. A background
Oh,
check
my
on
God.
the address where police were investigating where they say Dale Wayne Turner lived showed that his wife Robin was also a resident of that home. Here's a picture of Robin and Dale Wayne together. Looks like they're on a trip to San Francisco visiting Alcatraz back in 2023. Now, Robin is a bit older than
Your ass finna be on the way back to Alcatraz, man. Allegedly dismembered your son and got him all posting Facebook. Your ass finna be on the way back to Alcatraz, man. Your ass on the way back, man.
Turner. She is 62 years old. In 2022, Turner posted, quote, "Happy 12-year anniversary to the love of my life."
Stella got her groove back. 62 years old, man. Done got a hot young boyfriend over there cracking, walking around the house, butt naked, toes out. Her son not feeling that shit. He grown too, allegedly. I don't know what really happened, but could have possibly something happened. And shit, they ended up chopping that boy up and dropping his ass in the bay. That shit is crazy, man. 62 years old, man. It's crazy to be getting charged with the unaliving of your son or picked up, allegedly.
life, Robin Monroe Turner. I love you so much, baby. Here is to many more to come. Now, it is unclear if the Turners were still married at the time of Dale Wayne's death, but I want to show you this. Here is Robin Turner's mugshot. Police have taken her into custody in connection to whatever happened to Dale Wayne Turner, and there are still a lot of questions about that at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. Dale Wayne looked like he didn't take no shit. They might have got Dale Wayne up out of here because he wasn't going. I'm just going, man. Looking at Dale Wayne, it looked like Dale Wayne might not have been having it that day. I'm just gonna say it looked like he might not have been having it that day, bro. They might have. They man.
Point. And she is not the only person facing charges in this case. Here is a mugshot of the other person who has been arrested in connection to Dale Wayne Turner's arm being.
Man, I'm gonna be real, chat. He looked like one of those fish off of SpongeBob. You know, the generic flounder-like fish on SpongeBob with the flat heads, man. He looked like one of those turned sideways.
Found in Lake Mattoon. This is James Adams. He is 26 years old, and he is rumored to also be a family member of Dale Wayne Turner's. In 2022, Dale Wayne wrote on Facebook, quote, "Happy 22nd birthday to my little brother, James Adams. We love you and are so proud of how far you have come from growing from a boy and into a man. Mom would be so proud of you, and I know she is smiling down on you from heaven today. Happy birthday, little brother." Now, Robin Turner and James Adams are charged.
I'm just gonna say it, man. It might have been about some drugs, bro. They might have been. Now, where was they at, Chad? Listen, man. This has meth written all over it, man. I'm just gonna be honest, man. They probably hadn't been to sleep in days, man. Dude came over all, you know what I mean, Chad? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Hit the like button, Chad.
Charged with concealing a homicide and dismembering a human body. The big question, though, at this point.
Yeah, bro, like dismembering a body, bro, like, bro, you damn near gotta be high. Like, anytime I hear about somebody getting chopped up, like, I automatically think meth is involved. Automatically, bro. It's either cartel or meth, bro. Straight up. Cartel or meth, bro.
Is what happened to Turner, and how did his arm end up in a lake roughly 3 hours south of where Dale Wayne Turner lived? Sunday night, the Will County, Illinois coroner announced that they believe Turner was the victim of an apparent homicide, and they also say that he was pronounced dead at 9:17 p.m. on Wednesday at his home in Plainfield, Illinois. And they also say that, quote, his appendages, plural, were found in Lake Mattoon, meaning that more than one body part had been recovered in that lake. Now, as far as the official cause of death of Turner, that has yet.
Bro, look at him, bro. Do it look like he was going, bro? I'm just gonna say it, bro. Like, if some shit went on, man, they might have had to put him down, bro. I'm sorry to say it like that, man. Prayers to the family, but if that's a big dude, bro, some shit might have went on, bro. He might not have been going. He might not have been going for that shit, bro. Some shit could have went on, bro, and he could have done some damage, bro.
To be determined. Now, the date of Turner's death being July 1st, that is after his arm was found on the 28th, that does appear to line up when police arrived at his home in Plainfield to seemingly execute a search warrant and turn their investigation here. It is unclear when police believe that Dale Wayne Turner was alleged.
Bro, and he got his chin hair braided up. Like, come on, chat. That's like UFC 101, bro. Like, anytime you see a big white man like Paul Bunyan type, bro, with the chin hair braided up and the rubber bands at the end, bro, he's not to be fucked with, bro. Like, he's not to be fucked with, bro. Like, look at, bro, he's not to be fucked with, man.
Allegedly killed. Now, at the time of this recording, murder charges have not been filed in this case. So let's get to this new information that court documents are reportedly unveiling in this case, and this is major. According to the Herald News, inside a freezer in that Plainfield, Illinois home, police say they found Turner's head, his neck, and his torso. This freezer was.
Yeah, bro, that's one of them people that's like unknockoutable. You know, one of them people that you could punch like 1,000 times, bro, and they just won't be knocked out. Like, they could have the anvil off Looney Tunes drop on their head and they still won't be knocked out. That's the vibes that I get right here. Like unknockoutable, bro. It can't be knocked. Chin of steel. Unknockoutable, bro.
Allegedly duct taped shut, had a blanket over it, and even there were cinder blocks on top of the freezer that carried these alleged dismembered body parts. Now, police say under the freezer, there was a saw blade with what looked like blood on it, according to the newspaper. Now, police say
saw
Adams,
blade.
that is Dale Wayne Turner's own half-brother, allegedly admitted to people that he killed Turner by stabbing.
Killed this. I'm telling y'all, bro. His half brother got him up out of there. That's why Mama rolled. That's what I'm saying, Chad. We was wondering why a 62-year-old woman would be picked up for the unaliving and dismemberment of her son. It's because his half brother did it allegedly. She wasn't trying to lose 2 kids. She already lost one. Now she's not trying to lose the other one. Damn. Wow.
Stabbing him to death. Now, Robin Turner, that is Turner's wife, she allegedly helped try to cover up the crime, according to police. Police say that freezer that carried the dismembered body parts that was covered up with the duct tape and the blankets, they believe the freezer was specifically purchased allegedly for covering up this crime. Now, Adams allegedly told investigators that he was not going to talk, but then prosecutors say unprompted, after he was read his Miranda rights, he said, quote, "The one thing I will say is that I did it out of self-defense. I will tell you guys that," end quote. Now, Robin Turner allegedly said that Dale Wayne and Adams ended up getting into a fight and Adams stabbed his brother multiple times. She then allegedly points the finger at Adams, saying that he was the one who told her to help try to cover up this crime. Joining us now from Illinois to talk about this case, retired detective commander with the Chicago Police Department, Will Svilar, also one of the hosts of Big City Crime Inside the Red Tape, which you can find here on YouTube. Will Svilar, always great to have you here on Law and Crime. You know, the idea that someone's out for a weekend on Lake Mattoon and then suddenly you see this Packers helmet and you realize it's not a dead fish. From an investigator's standpoint, the arm, which is just so morbid to talk about, rising to the surface, still having the tattoo on it. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells me a couple of things. One, somebody put it there. That's one thing. You got to get
And it
separated
had
from
been
his
there
arm,
that long.
By happenstance. But
because if it had been there that long, Chad, what is it? Damn. The marine life would have started to eat on it, and the water would have deteriorated it, and the tattoo would have looked different. It would have, like, when we seen that arm, it didn't look like anything had got to it yet, so it hadn't been in there that long.
But then you wonder, is it a boat accident? Is it something like that? And the fact that you can still see that tattoo really well, and from what I saw, the pictures that I saw, the skin looked like it was in pretty good condition, tells me it hadn't been there very long.
Yeah, and I think too, like the coroner saying that appendages, plural, was found. And I know that they were out at the lake, the state police, I believe it was the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, looking through this lake for a while. And they were able to find, according to the medical examiner, appendages, plural. And they did say an autopsy was done. Another morbid question, like how much of a body do you need to actually perform?
I remember one time, Chad, when I was young, it was a guy that rode through my town and the police got behind him and he threw out a head. He threw out like a whole severed head out of the car, bro. And the police just stopped chasing him for some reason. I don't know if it fucked them up or what, but he ended up getting away. He threw a whole fucking head out and got away.
Perform an autopsy.
Well, what you need is when you're performing an autopsy, you're trying to figure out what happened. You're trying to find out cause and manner of death. So, a couple of arms, appendages, legs, feet, it may not tell the whole story. It's been my experience that the head and the torso tell the whole story. Now, if you have, obviously, if you recovered a head or, again, not to be morbid, or a torso, and you see an obvious gunshot wound or obvious stab wound, now you can make a determination of cause and manner. But if you don't have that, it's kind of difficult to say what killed this person.
Yeah, and they end up following the trace because, to an extent, I mean, the fact that he had this, he's a Bears fan, but it's like a Packers helmet and a with like a skull, the fact that, that was on there really was something unique that law enforcement could then put out to the public, and someone along the way, maybe a family member or friend, said, hey, I know who that is. And then they go to a house in Plainfield, Illinois, and they apparently have been able to find more evidence in there that leads to the arrest of these two people. But before we get to that part of the investigation, I guess you see in movies, people dump bodies into bodies of water or parts of bodies. How sophisticated of a criminal potentially are we talking about here if what's alleged is true, that the fact that you had a body part that actually came to the surface of this lake to the point where...
All right, chat, that's enough of that story. We're going to get into this little girl right here.
Which one?
Everyone hit the like button, man. We hanging out tonight. We just chilling. Everyone hit the like button for me, though. If you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Do not have my damn sub counter up. That's what's different. I need to put the sub counter back. But we go live every single night over here at 10 p.m. Central Time. I do drop videos that are mostly members first. Everybody else gets it a little later. So grab you a membership, send a super chat, send some gifts. But be sure to double tap that screen. Shut the live out. Now, this lady right here, it says, missing girl dead for weeks before mom called 911. So this little girl right here was had passed away, and she was gone for weeks before her mom called 911. Now, a lot of people are taking the stance of, oh, the mother was grieving, and I don't know. I haven't looked at this story at all, really, but we finna get into it.
Say about the baby.
That is the voice of 4-year-old Javea Harris, a little girl who police claim is now dead. Her parents are in jail. They're charged with killing her. But this case has a bizarre and disturbing twist.
The hardest announcement that I've ever had to make in my 36 years career in law enforcement. That she had been deceased for at least a month.
How do the police know she's dead if they haven't found her? We're bringing in a criminal defense and civil rights attorney to help.
Bro, a month, bro, for that little girl, bro. It's no way they had an open casket. It's no way. A month, bro. A month.
I'll break down everything. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. By the way, if you're into content creation, if you're putting things out on social media, you might be seeing that we generates B-roll. It get a free week, and then 50% enforcement is saying. A 4-year-old little girl, Javea Harris, was reported missing after, according to her family, she wandered away from the front yard of her home. Hundreds of people joined this search. Deputies, helicopters, drones, canines, everyone hoping that she'd be found alive.
Wandered away?
Investigators claim that's never...
How old was she to be wandering away? Man, how old is this baby, man?
It wasn't the case, but this is what law enforcement is saying. A 4-year-old little girl, Javea Harris, was...
Four. Bro, now listen. Listen, Chad. I got kids, man. It's no fucking way my 4-year-old is wandering off any motherfucking where, man. My 4-year-old can barely go to the bathroom. When my kids was 4, bro, they could barely go to the bathroom without me knowing. Man, any movement, man. Some shit get the moving in this bitch, man. I'm knowing what's going on. The hell you mean a 4-year-old wandered away?
Was reported missing after, according to her family, she...
4-year-olds wander off all the time. Who the fuck, where? Maybe y'all 4-year-olds do, man. My kids fucking knew better. I'm just gonna be honest with you, Chad. Y'all can say 4-year, my kids fucking knew better, bro. It is what it is.
Wandered away from the front yard of her home. Hundreds of people joined this search. Deputies, helicopters, drones, canines, everyone hoping that she'd be found alive. But now, investigators claim that's never going to happen. According to the Aiken County Sheriff's Office, Javea had already been dead for at least a month before anyone called 911 to report her missing. Her parents, Michaela Herring and Jamaria Harris, are now charged with homicide.
Man, I'm just going to be honest. At 4 years old, my kids fucking knew better, bro. Now, of course, I watched them like a hawk, but my kids knew better, bro. Wandering off? going to explore and shit. Man, listen, man.
Side by child.
This is not no Door to Explore type of shit going on where I'm from, bro. That shit's on cartoons, man.
Child abuse. And Herring is also charged with filing a false police report. But here's what makes this case so.
See, that's because y'all kids didn't have no fear and authority, man. Y'all gotta have some authority around this motherfucker. Now, I'm not saying your kids gotta be all scared of you, but they gotta know that the actions got some damn consequences out this motherfucker, man. Kids wandering off and shit, man. My kids knew better, just like they know better now. Gotta have some damn actions and consequences.
Unusual, so different, potentially challenging for prosecutors. There's no body as of yet, right? Investigators are still searching, but they haven't found this little girl, which, as we'll get into, could present a challenge. But now the question becomes, how can authorities definitively say she's been dead for weeks if they haven't recovered her body? How do they know for sure? What evidence led them to file these homicide charges? What do police believe happened during that month before she was ever reported missing? Look, I'm going to try to get into all of that, what police are saying so far, the sheriff's major update in the case that broke over the weekend, just as the parents appeared in court to face a judge for the first time. But first, here's how all of this unfolded. So according to police, on June 30th at around 8:15 p.m., Aiken County deputies received a 911 call. Mother reported her 4-year-old daughter missing, saying Javea was playing at the front yard near a chicken coop when she mysteriously wandered off. And just like that, a massive search gets underway. I'm talking more than 200.
Now, I could see if they would have said she was kidnapped or something, but wandered off is just crazy to me, bro. Like, wandered off is damn crazy, bro. Now, I could see if they said somebody picked the ass up, you know, that's always a fear, you know what I'm saying? But wandered off and just still wandering, oh, that shit's crazy, bro. That shit's crazy.
Personnel on the ground, helicopters, drones, canines, even the FBI got involved. And for days, this is what everyone was focused on, finding this little girl alive and bringing her home. And then sadly, something shifts. The search is scaled back.
Like, yeah, that's what I would think would happen, chat. Like how that guy that, where the fuck was he from? Where he had the Amazon truck and he had kidnapped that little girl and unalived her. And then he pulled up at that other house looking for that other little girl. Now, if some shit like that happened, I would be like, damn, like there are sick people out here. But just for wandering off and shit, it's like, bro, why was the damn baby like wandered off is crazy.
And on July 4th, Aiken County Sheriff Marty Sawyer called a press conference to deliver what he says was the hardest announcement he's ever had to make.
I'm deeply saddened to tell you that our investigation and evidence leads us to believe that 4-year-old Javea Harris is deceased. It's the outcome that we all feared, and sadly, it's the outcome that we must face. We'll have to face it together as a community. Sadly, the night of the 911 call on June 30th, when that call was made, it was already too late to save Javea. At this time, our investigation supports that she had been deceased for at least a month.
Now, the sheriff also.
Max, you said, not gonna lie, your parents were at work most of the time. How old were you and who was watching you? At 4 years old, you was at the house by yourself? At 4. At 4.
Also addressed the search itself, and he made it clear that they're still looking, but he also hinted at something else.
Our search for Javea drives on. We are continuing to put massive law enforcement resources to work to recover Javea and bring her home. We all hoped and prayed to find her alive, but it's extremely important to bring her home to her family and it's important to bring her home for us. We are currently searching an area of interest right now, not in Aiken County. Additional charges may be forthcoming. We'll figure that out as the investigation goes further.
Okay, so now I want to talk about bond. And both parents appeared before a judge on July 5th. Neither of them walked out. First up, let's talk about 22-year-old Michaela Herring. Listen to what a judge told her. This is courtesy of WRDW about the charges she's facing.
Ms. Herring, you've been charged with homicide by child abuse. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if convicted, it carries up 20 years to life in prison? Do you
Yes.
understand that? You've also been charged with filing false police report of a felony violation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
It carries up to 5 years in prison or a $5,000 fine. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Herring, with regards to homicide by child abuse, it carries 20 years to life if convicted. Based on the severity of the charge and the penalty that it carries, I do not have the authority to set bond. You will have to go before a circuit court judge. A circuit court judge will basically do what I'm doing, but will have the authority to set a bond on you.
So yeah, they bound it over. They was in district court for the initial hearing, so they bound it over. It's obviously felony, so it's going straight to circuit court.
Sometime within 30 days, you will have that opportunity to go before the circuit court judge. With regards to the filing false police report of the felony violation, that bond would have been set for $5,000, but because it's connected to the homicide charge, I'm going to deny bond.
Now you go to 23-year-old Jamaria Harris. Listen to this exchange.
You've been charged with...
You said 4-year-olds aren't toddlers. We stagnate development by coddling kids too much. My kids were very much independent as they could have been at 4 years old, but they damn sure wasn't just gonna be not watched. Like, yeah, I didn't treat my 4-year-olds like damn babies anymore, but damn sure they wasn't playing outside without no supervision. Hell no. Hell no.
Homicide by child abuse, which carries a prison sentence if convicted.
If I gotta sit in the truck, if I gotta sit in the truck, like I sit in the truck and watch the kids play. If they don't want me to play with them, they want to play with their friends, and they don't want me to be the dad out there in the mix, I sit in my truck, shit, and watch them. Yeah, but they gonna be watched for sure.
Of 20 years to life. You understand that?
Yes.
With regards to the charge, bond, you're here to have a bond set, but this court does not have the authority or the jurisdiction to set a bond for a sentence of a crime that could get you life in prison. So today's bond is being denied, and it's also...
No, my kids wasn't even like that when they were 4. Like, now that my kids are getting older, they're at that age to where they got friends, and you know, they have separate friends now. Like my daughter, she has her own friends or whatever, and my son has his own friends. So it's kind of like, it's at the point to where they're like, yeah, that's my dad, you know, they'll introduce you, but then they want to go on their own. They don't want me out there like trying to play with them, or unless they want to get pushed on the swing. If they want me to push them on the swing, that's about the only time they want me, you know, around. They want to go hang out with their friend.
Being transferred to the circuit court, where a circuit court judge will hear this case within the next 30 days.
So look, that is where we stand right now. You have these parents in custody. You have this belief by law enforcement that this little girl is dead. You don't have a body. You're trying to figure out how this case is going to unfold. And I want to try to make sense of it because it's a really, really disturbing case. I want to bring on criminal defense and civil rights attorney Tyler Bailey into this discussion. Tyler, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. This is a strange one. It's a sad one, but a strange one. The idea that law enforcement can say, we believe she's dead without the body. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it is
Oh,
strange.
they still don't
in
have the
South Carolina,
body.
you do not need a body to prove a homicide. You need evidence. And the sheriff, he went on TV during that press conference and announced that they have shifted their investigation towards a homicide versus a missing person because they believe there's evidence that leads to the parents being the culprits of homicide by child abuse here. And it's a sad situation. They're not showing their whole hand about what they have, but they believe they have enough to move forward with those charges.
Why is it difficult or more difficult for prosecutors to prove a case of murder or prove a case of homicide, whatever the charge may be, without a body?
It's an evidentiary hurdle. One of the questions the jurors are going to want to know is, where is the body? And that's something that the defense will try to highlight in their representation of the accused here. So it makes it more difficult for the state to prove, but it's not impossible for them to prove. It can be done by circumstantial evidence, and likely they have a lot of that here, unfortunately.
Because the idea is you wouldn't be able to determine cause of death, right? You wouldn't be able to determine the exact circumstances of how someone died. So that's room for the defense to argue reasonable doubt. I guess the question becomes, how can they definitively say that she's dead? I mean, isn't that, I'm sure, like, what is the hurdle? What is the amount of evidence they could determine we know that she's no longer alive? Is it because, you know, you're also dealing with a young girl like this who is not an adult? You know, it's not like somebody could sustain injuries and wander off or escape. How do they know definitively she's deceased?
That statement that was made was a bold one by the sheriff, and they must have something. It could be text messages that they have. There could be video evidence that they have. It could be witness statements, forensic data. It's not impossible for them to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt that there was a death that occurred and criminal conduct is what led to the death occurring. And that's what has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. But like you mentioned earlier, they're going to highlight that the defense will highlight that there's some reasonable doubt here, and they'll try to poke any holes in the state's case. And we'll see what they have, but the state's holding their cards pretty close to the chest, and they say they believe and they have enough evidence to move forward.
I mean, the idea of this search now, it's the search to recover her remains. Is that what you're getting the sense? And why it's so important for the family to just get some answers, to get there? Obviously, from an evidentiary point of view and a forensic testing point of view and an investigative point of view, it's going to be important to try to find her remains, but also for the family. I mean, we talk about it in a similar fashion with the Nancy Guthrie case. I mean, there's a lot of indicators to believe that, unfortunately, Nancy might not be alive, but the family wants some sort of answer, right? They want to have the body. They want to have the remains. They say, bring them home, right? I mean, that is a very important factor that can't be overlooked. And even if they believe that this little girl is dead, it doesn't take away from the importance or the effort of searching for her.
Absolutely. And I don't even believe that the sheriff's primary concern right now is specifically the case. What he has referenced and what this community needs is some justice and accountability and closure for that family. So they're looking everywhere for the body. I would love to believe that she's alive, and they're definitively saying that this is a homicide investigation and the family needs closure. You know, having your loved one missing, especially a young child like this. I mean, so many people likely loved her. She seems like a beautiful young soul. It's really a tragedy, and they need some closure, and that's why the FBI is involved. You have SLEDA who's involved, multiple sheriff departments that are involved, and they're working tirelessly to bring her home.
Are child abuse cases tough to prosecute? Let me rephrase that. I don't mean tough to prosecute in the sense the subject matter could be the hardest cases that you ever have to deal with, obviously. But it does make me wonder, are they tough to secure conviction for prosecutors in the sense, are there alternative explanations for how a child could get hurt? Or, you know, they're young, they run around, they fall, and particularly if you have a case with potentially no body, can those be difficult cases for a prosecutor to secure conviction? Child abuse cases, homicide by child abuse. Talk to me about that.
Homicide by child abuse specifically is a difficult case to prove when there is no body. And that makes it a lot more difficult than there would be if there was unfortunately a child's body who was able to be examined through an autopsy, mechanism of injury, things of that nature. Most of the time, child abuse cases that do not rise to the level of a homicide are easier to prosecute, but they still are gut-wrenching just because of the sheer nature of the evidence and not taking any of the gruesome reality of it as for benefit of doubt. And they need to prove every element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt, and that means they need to lay out all the facts and circumstances before a jury, which makes it difficult for the prosecution to move through that evidence in a way that the jury could comprehend it. But switching here, looking specifically at this case, homicide by child abuse and neglect, and you do not have a body, makes it a little bit more difficult for the prosecution.
By the way, the sheriff also hinted at these arrests and that maybe more could be coming. Maybe. I want to take a listen.
We've arrested her dad, 23-year-old Jamaria Harris, and her mom, 22-year-old Michaela Herring, for homicide by child abuse and filing a false police report. Additional charges may be forthcoming. We'll figure that out as the investigation goes further.
What did the sheriff mean by that? What additional charges could be here?
He's pretty coy by not saying exactly what those specific charges could be, but there's several that I think that could be a reality here. The penalty for homicide by child abuse and neglect is 20 to life. You have up to 5 years for the false report. There could be a situation where this turns into a murder investigation, and if a grand jury finds that the evidence is sufficient, that could put the death penalty on the table. Here in South Carolina, there could be some accessories after the fact, or accessories who help conceal.
Yeah, I think they got death by firing squad back in South Carolina too. I think they got the death by firing squad back out there.
Some of the evidence could be obstruction of justice charges. It seems like they're leaving the door open for anything that the evidence leads to show there's a crime that committed, and that's what they should do so there'll be full justice here. The body has not been found. They're probably still interviewing witnesses who may have information, and so that could lead to there being more charges. Namely, I believe it could be upgraded if there's more facts here, and there could be some other people who could be accessories after the fact who obstructed justice.
When you see two caregivers, two parents charged, do you see a situation, and we're in the early stages, I don't know exactly what would be argued or what the defense would be. Do you see one blaming the other?
Hell yeah.
That could be a possibility here.
Hell
we don't
yeah.
know. I do know that there appears that one person made the phone call to the sheriff's department. The other had an alibi as to where they were. And so we don't know what happened. The false report could be somebody who may be more culpable for obstruction of justice. And there could be somebody else who actually did more of the physical aspect of the crime. I don't want to speculate too much, but any situation where you have life in prison that's on the table, you're likely to have people looking to point the finger at the other to reduce the amount of time they may serve.
Tyler, both parents here were denied bond. Both appear that it seems that they're going to go before a judge in the coming weeks. Both have been ordered to comply with DSS requirements. Are you surprised both were denied bond, and what does it mean?
Hell no.
Anytime you have a child who's been harmed, and if there are other...
Man, you got this child that has been harmed, then you wasted all of the damn state and local resources. Y'all had people out looking for this kid for a month, and y'all been knew what the hell happened. You not getting no fucking bond. It's over with. And they finna max you out. It's over with. You done wasted all these state resources, man.
Children of the parents,
allegedly,
DSS will be involved. They could temporarily remove the children from custody of that parent and place them with another loved one who would temporarily have custody of them. And then I'm not surprised at all about bond being denied. In South Carolina, the first step in bond hearings is seeing a magistrate judge. The level of this offense is higher, so it has to go to a circuit court judge, and that will probably be heard within 30 days. So they'll go up before a judge to see if they can get a bond later on. And the facts of this case are looking like that's going to be a less likely of an event of them getting bond. If they do get one, it'll be a substantially high one, and we'll see what DSS finds in their investigation of the parents as well.
There's another part to this. This mother, this defendant, this is according to reporting authorities confirmed in this presser, that she had given birth to another child, but we're not sure if investigators believe that birth had anything to do with the timing of this missing child report. But that's a development. That's a significant development, too.
Yeah, it is a significant development that she's a mother and she had another child and she's currently sitting behind bars with bond being denied. And so there needs to be somebody to take care of that child. And I also could give you a little bit about the state of mind that she was.
Yeah, she don't look wrapped too tight either, chat. I'ma just say it. She's not an ugly girl, man, but she don't look wrapped too tight, man. She's look like she's probably on her last marble. Just gonna say it looks like she's probably on the last marble, bro.
In. We'll see what her defense uses regarding that. I'm not sure how far along she is in the birth of her new child, whether postpartum could be something that they look into. But there's a lot of nuances here with the family dynamics with involving Gervais' parents and also this new child and who's going to be taking care of them and what effect, if any, that has in the state's prosecution.
Now, something else I want to get into before the arrests, station WRDW actually spoke with the father here. So you had reporter Will Rio, who interviewed Mr. Harris by phone on Thursday, July 2nd. And this was while the search was still active. And you look back to that interview now and you wonder, what do we make of it, right, based on these allegations? And look, they are both innocent unless proven guilty. But this is part of what he said. I got up at around 5-ish, and my daughter was outside playing. My girl was out there watching her. I left the house around 7. I got back to the house maybe around 7:15. I went to like 3 stores maybe. I was back at the washing machine that was right beside the Circle K. And when I was at the Circle K, I was seeing a lot of police. I did not know that it was my house. My girlfriend at the time, she did not have service on her phone, so she could not call me. So she just ended up calling 911. When I came back to the house, I seen a whole bunch of police right in my house. She came up crying to me saying my Javaya was missing, and I kind of freaked out. Tyler, thoughts on that? I wonder, is there parts of that that could be true, even given the allegations, or is
they
it
set it
suspicious?
up?
Again, he's innocent unless proven guilty, but I thought that was interesting.
Alleged.
This interview.
He's innocent until he's proven guilty, but the fact that he gave that recitation very specific about what he was doing, he said a few stores here and there. I mean, there's some parts that could be dissected. Whatever the reason for it is certainly going to be used against him now. They're going to look to corroborate any specifics in the alibi he tried to give. And it's not uncommon a lot of times in missing person cases that you have people who are the culprit or accused who are participating in the search. They're talking to people, they're showing up. I don't know the specific reasons for the father doing this here. We as you said, he's innocent, or he's presumed innocent until proven guilty. But it is kind of odd that he decided to give an interview to the media, knowing where they were with this situation, and that the sheriff said that the child, unfortunately, he believes was deceased at least 30 days prior to the mother giving the call.
I want to just show one more thing here. There is this video of Javaya. It was posted online. It is heartbreaking.
High stressful situation. They done subpoenaed them phone records. They done subpoenaed them phone records, man. High stressful situation. They probably arguing about what happened back and forth over the phone. Yeah, they done subpoenaed them phone records. And somebody done probably confessed to somebody else like, yeah, I just, and they done went and told. One or two.
Breaking.
Hey. What you want to say about the baby? Baby.
It's a heartbreaking video to see, Tyler. I want to be careful about how we say this, but man. I think one of the questions that may come out of it, maybe an important investigative question, is there is something arguably noticeable in the video. I think something that people could say is it appears there may be a bump or a mark on her head. We don't know for sure. We don't know when this video was taken. We don't know if it's related to this case in any way, but it is something that we're seeing already people have noticed. Your thoughts?
It's unfortunate, and You know, a lot of times in child abuse and neglect cases, there are signs that are out there that people may turn a blind eye to or may not think it is anything. But that's why it's very important in these situations, especially for mandated reporters, to make these reports to law enforcement, to the Department of Social Services, so they can investigate this. And I really hope that this child wasn't being abused and living in an abusive situation before this incident. But if she was and other people knew about it, they should have said something, and maybe we wouldn't be where we are today.
Tyler Bailey, thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh man. All right, chat, man. We're gonna wrap this up, man. I want to give a shout out to Najee, Robert, Lori, and Karen for sending jewels on tonight. Thank you, Ender, Amber, Young Merc, and Ronnie for sending super chats. And also thank you, Amber, for the 10 gifted memberships, chat. I got a video that I'm about to upload. It'll be members first, and I'll probably have it come out in the morning for everybody else. But members, y'all will have a video up in probably the next 20 or 30 minutes. Be sure to check that out. Hype the video, drop some comments. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out of here. And we're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. We'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Central Time. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to all the OGs. And let me see. And I'll see y'all on the next one.